Hello, everybody. Hello. You know what it is? I blame my playlist. It is now filled with some amazing songs. So I'm rocking out on my phone. I hope everyone is doing well. It is Monday night. Welcome to my so-called life. My name is William, and this is me hitting the wrong button. And this is the House of Sewing. Hello. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm all over the place. Give me a second. I'm clicking on stuff, not knowing what I'm doing. I just got back from my son's class. I hope everyone's having a good evening. It's still a little bit early. Hello. Awesome, Alibaba. Great to see you. You startled me. Do you know what's really funny? I try not to do that. One day I'll get my stuff together and get an opening. One day. I always wonder about that. How much do people jump when I'm like, hi? That's why I try to come on kind of, smooth. I have quite a few things I'm going to be doing this evening, including drinking coffee, rambling about the things that have happened throughout my day. Right now, I'm making hoods for all my old unfinished projects. I actually have finished that hood behind me, which I'll be trying on later when everyone gets here. I should start with my chocolatey voice. It's been a while since with the chocolatey voice, you have to slow down a little bit and kind of bring it down. I am at 10. You know what it is? It's because I come home and I turn on my coffee maker because I have laundry to do tonight, a live stream, quite a few hoods that need to be made. Awesome. Awesome. Great to see you. Oh. So I don't even know where to start. You know what? I'm going to start with my hood since it's early. I do not have the table out tonight because tonight I'm all business because I'm going to get some sewing done. I know it's been a while. This is actually a sewing channel. I know that's shocking, but tonight I'm going to get some sewing done. I have quite a few things that I will be talking about a little bit later when people show up. Right now, I am in my hoodie era. I am going out, and quite honestly, it feels good to finish old projects. I don't know when I started this shirt behind me, but I finally finished it. It's encouraging me to go through my fabric. I'm finding stuff that I thought I didn't have much of. I have yards and yards of it. So this is all positive. Right now, I am in the middle of making this hood. Matter of fact, while I'm talking, I can take the pins out. I do not know why it's taken me this long, but I was finally able to surge this all at once. Instead of doing it step by step, I pinned everything and I just started sewing. I started sewing the sides and everything, and it came out perfect. And I did it basically in one or two serger sessions instead of like doing it piece by piece. I did everything together and it came out perfect. I'm checking for pens because this hood is huge and I'm not necessarily ready to turn it in on itself yet because I'm going to start. I'm going to start surge. Well, I'm going to finish surging what I started. Earlier today, while I was sewing, Rashawn had a live stream and it was compelling stuff, so I had to jump on. I'm a sucker for nostalgia and good music. I was listening. What was I? Oh, I was listening to Eye of the Tiger, Bad, and The Roots before this started. I'm all about nostalgia. Awesome. So this is my Lady Guadalupe print. What I'm gonna do, I really didn't know what to do with half my projects. I've started all these overambitious projects, and I figured on a few of them, I'm just gonna add a hood. A year or two ago, it was all about the collar. Now I'm just gonna add a hood on it. I don't know if you can see that behind me, but these projects are coming out awesome. Absolutely awesome. And sometimes you don't know if you're copying a style, reinventing something, or bringing something back, you know? All right. But before I get to any of that, wow, it's all quiet on the Western Front. This program is for entertainment purposes only, and its content is not intended to malign any religion, lack thereof, race, company, individual, or wigs. All opinions expressed by my so called life and program participants are solely their personal views and do not reflect the views of every single human being on planet Earth. I hope everybody has a great night flying my so called life airlines. And if there's any distress at all, if there's anything going on and you feel you have to take off, there are exits on both sides. That's a izquierda and derecha. I hope everybody has a great evening. All right. All right. So I'm going to continue pinning. I'm going to finish what I started. Yay. Hello. Hello, Joy. Great to see you. I'm finishing hoods right now. You know what the funny thing is, Joy? I have no idea why it's taken me this long to figure it out, but I surged everything at once in place and it changed my life. Usually I would surge each piece individually, but I put this together completely and I surged it and it worked. So that's just like 2 less steps. You learn something new every day. Joy is pointing and laughing. I'm stepping up in the surgery world. I'm stepping up. It only took me 40 something years to figure it out. But I'm excited because I was able to make an elaborate hood with lining in one step. So I'm excited. I'm excited. And that's the thing, like I do extremely intricate things and I put them piece to piece and it looks good, but it's okay to cut a corner or two sometimes. Yay! Uh, Ollie, can I get advice from you on a machine? Awesome, awesome. Yeah, hello, butterfly. Great to see you. I hope all is well. Awesome, awesome. Hello, hello. Yay, hello. So I'm going to be attempting to finish a few projects. This is going to be the year of completed projects. I am excited. And it, do you know, a long time ago, I had a stick shift 1983 VW Rabbit. I loved that car. It was all steel. It was tiny, but that thing could really go. Long story short, I drove that thing for 2 years. It took me a year and a half to figure out there was a fifth gear. Judge me. Judge me. I loved that car too. All right. So I'm going to finish surging this piece. So I feel like that because I finally figured out how to do this in one continuous piece. So I'm stoked. I'm going to move this over without unplugging anything. There we go. You should judge me. I was in my 20s. I was spunky, rambunctious, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, you learn something new every day. I miss that car too. I miss that car. Oh, that was. Oh. Trying to think if I've purchased anything that I normally don't, considering that I always like you know what the problem is? I live within 3 minutes of a Walmart, 4 if there's traffic, 5 if the light's taking a while. Hang on, I'm going to log in so I can judge you. years. I loved that car too. That car was so shabby. Hey, Pam, hello. That car was so shabby. The California Highway Patrol pulled me over. They felt so sorry for me. The guy let me use his cell phone to call my friend, and the CHP towed me to my friend's house. That's how shabby the car was. That car was so shabby the cops felt sorry for me. Hey, Pam, great to see you. Hello. I'm going to be doing some Surger magic here in a second. I'm finishing a few projects. I'm going to add a hood on this. I added a hood on that. I will be trying it on when Waternay's yelling at me for my bad driving and bad decision making. But I hope you're having a great evening. We actually have weather here. It's raining. So, that's the crazy thing. It was 70 degrees on Monday, and today is raining. So the weather truly does not know what it wants to do here. Hello, Pam. Great to see you. I thought it was so ironic today when I looked and I'm like, is it really raining? Because it was trying to when I picked up my son from school, but like when we went to the class, it was raining for real. And I was like, it was 70 degrees the other day. Just got the kids in bed. Awesome. Oh, right. I wonder how loud this is. I have a different mic stand, so if you see me awkwardly moving the mic, it's because I'm trying out a different mic stand. Oh, I see a piece where I missed. I will take care of that immediately. Oh, because I've been rocking out to all different types of music. My algorithm is all over the place. So I just took a journey listening to a few songs right now before the stream started. And I was listening to Michael Jackson's Bad, and it brought me back. And you know what? I'm old enough to remember when it came out. So nostalgia for the win. Oh, that's perfect. Beautiful. Awesome. Perfect. So, like I said, it took me a while to figure it out, but I was able to sew this all in one piece. I'm stoked. So I'm going to take off the other hoodie. I'm going to make sure all the pens are out of here, but I'm going to take off the other hoodie off the mannequin so I can position this hood and I can try it on and see if it really fits. It's completely made. It's ready to go, but I haven't tried it on yet. So we'll see what happens. Awesome. Like I said, I hope everybody's having a great night. Today has been another hectic day, but I made it. And that's all that counts. Hello.
What's this I hear about you driving freeways in fourth gear?
I really was. And I'm not kidding you. The day I hit fifth gear, my first thought was, I drove all the way to Oregon in fourth gear and back. And I drove to San Francisco in fourth gear and back because when I was in my 20s, I had this weird surfer thing going on, and I went up and down the coast of California in that car.
Your poor car.
It was a VW. It was well made.
It's a good thing.
Awesome. So there's much to discuss this evening.
Oh.
The first off, the 28-year-old came back to the class.
They didn't
He's
take
now
them
being
away?
no, he's now being presented as like a instructor But here's the problem. He's the size as he's like my kid's almost 150. The kid's like 120 at 28 years old.
Um,
You know what's so funny? I just come back from a long trip and I don't know what it was. I hit it in fifth gear and I was like, oh, I should never tell anyone about this. But it was 20 years ago. I don't care. I could totally point at the 20-something-year-old me and laugh, you know?
yeah, you were young and uninformed,
I
you
was
know.
a kid. And that was the first like I had owned a stick before, but it was more of like a race car,
Mm.
you know? And so it was more fine-tuned. That was oh my gosh.
So so this 28-year-old guy, I mean, was the instructor asking him to come before as kind of like an extra more experienced sparring partner, and then the instructor didn't know how to tell people that when they complained? Or
I think so. And also I'm noticing like because this guy's real. Like he fights in tournaments, he's on TV. And
Mhm,
so I'm noticing like in the adult class, these are buff big dudes.
mhm.
Like these are like they're no one to be messed with. This one guy walks in, he's like, "Hi, William," and I'm like, "Good grief, good
So
grief."
I mean, the teacher should have presented that in the beginning so that the parents weren't freaking out and
And I
wondering what
didn't. And the
creeper was in
cool, I
class.
agree. The cool thing is, I didn't have to complain because, like, when he walked in, all the parents started standing up, and the coach was like, "Oh, he's one of us." All right,
Hello, Joy. You're
so
so
it's
sweet. Thank you.
time for a reveal. We got an early reveal.
Ooh, ooh.
I've been sewing, and is it wrong if I put a patch on you get points for driving a standard and different? Okay, it's so funny you would say that, Butterfly. That actually saved me because my starter went out and I was like, I don't know how to start my car, but I'd remembered you can push start a motorcycle. So I was like, maybe you could do it with a car, and you can. So I was on a hill and I was like, oh, I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding. You're laughing, but I invented fire that day. I invented fire that day. I was like, I won. Like, that was a glorious day. And because I was parked on a hill and I was scared, I didn't know what I was doing. That whole calamity turned into me learning that you can pop start a car. I didn't know. I was a kid. I was a baby too. That was like in the beginning of my travels. I was like 22,
Mm.
21. I was, I had an ocean behind my ears. I wasn't wet behind my ears. That was glorious. That whole San Francisco trip was nothing but self-discovery. That was glorious. When I popped out that car, I was like, I conquered the planet. I can get home now.
Except, what were you going to do when there was no hill?
You can still pop start a car on a flat plane.
I know, but it's a little bit, it's harder if you don't have someone to give you a.
Hey, when you're in your 20s and you're determined. I eventually went and bought a starter
Uh-huh.
because I went to this place called Pep Boys. I don't know if they exist anymore. And I pulled in. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with my car. It won't start. And they're like, come here, youngin. Come here. How did you get here, sir? Because you look helpless. I was a kid. Those were good trips. Those were great trips. They taught me a lot about myself. And I'm not a professional surfer. So- oh, I gotta take my boots off. Back to being 5'9" again. I'm down here again. But I've been wearing them all day. And there's that moment when you take your boots off and it's that like your foot is like, thank you. So you're in the beginning of your robotic era. Oh yeah, now you got a lag. That's one of the great things about a stick shift. I did not know that. When I was a kid, I did not like those were glorious days. Those were like because that was my first real time being independent and everything scared me. Everything. Hey, David and Davids, how's it going?
Hello, David and David's.
Yay, you're back with, but you didn't do your interpret. There we go. It's not Monday night if you're not doing your interpretive dance. Awesome, awesome. See, but that's the beautiful thing about life. Like, there was no bubble wrap around me. I was out in the wild by myself. It was sink or swim. And you know what? I sank a little, but I eventually started swimming. Life's a crazy teacher like that. All right, let me switch my stuff around so I can start. So I feel kind of accomplished. And well, I'm gonna put a patch on that sheen hoodie thing I'm gonna wear all the time. 'Cause I love having undershirts. And I have I have this thing called a patch addiction, aka Amazon needs to be taken off my phone. Do you know what's funny? It's almost been a year of me whining about Amazon. Almost been a full year. Maybe I should do something about it and stop participating.
They're kind of hard to avoid sometimes.
I have a crazy question for you, and maybe it's because I'm a sensitive human. How do you deal with door-to-door salesmen, aka solar people who will not go away?
Well, I have a nice sign on my door that says, except in cases of fire, flood, the zombie apocalypse, etc., please do not disturb.
I need to get one.
I think that helps some, and then the people who ignore my sign get to feel my wrath.
I didn't sew anything today, but I did clear off the table so I can cut the next pair of cargo shorts that I need to make. That's awesome, Pam. Do you know what's funny? I've been cleaning too. That's where I got all these shirts. I've been cleaning out. I'm just it's like winter spring cleaning. Today, first off, I don't know how to say this. The solar people are kind of rude. And I don't even know and I'm gonna say this because of the way I look, and this is not even a political statement, it's more because they think I'm young. They come to the door and they're like, "Can I speak to the owner of the house?" If you ever say that to me, you see this smiley face, you see me being happy, I'm going to look you in the eye and say, "You have 30 seconds." I say, anytime anyone asks me, "Can I speak to the owner?" I'm like, "You have 30 seconds, go." And then they're like, "Blah, blah, blah, solar." And then I'm like, "No, thank you." And then they're standing there shocked. And I'm like, "Have a good day." The guy was, I don't know. Door-to-door salesman. When I was a kid, those Encyclopedia Britannica guys would wash your car. Cutco knives would cook you dinner. Kirby vacuum would vacuum your whole house to show you how glorious their vacuum was. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me the Kirby people would hook you up. These guys are rude. And then this is my fault. I'm in my Reese's era, and I bought this giant bag of like Act 5 Reese's and Payday. And long story short, I used to hide electro. I just shoved an entire Act 5 in my mouth, and some political guy came to my door. And he was wondering, like, we were talking and I was doing this, and he looked at me and he's like, "What are you doing?" Okay, so it raises so many questions in my mind. Are people not polite anymore? Do people talk with their mouths open? This is international for I don't want you to see what I'm eating. Hey, Ollie. Hey.
Oh, Ollie's back. Hello. Well,
Maybe but
I mean, especially if you're doing, it's kind of obvious that you're chewing, but I don't know.
and it's my mistake for shoving an entire well, it's those minis, but it's the size of my mouth. I shoved the entire thing in my mouth. They're glorious. So I'm chewing in heaven. I look up at my camera and I'm like, "Ugh, today was the day of solicitors, I guess. I don't know." But they were unrelenting. And you know what my problem is? I'm polite, but I'm also impatient. So I get more mad at myself. Because I'm like, why did I even open my door? Why did I open my front door? I need to
Why
get a
am I
sign.
allowing my peace to be disturbed?
I need to get a sign like you have. My uncle had a just old school no solicitor sign. Anyone touched his bell, he would literally walk up and violently tap the sign and close the door. Like,
I've done that when I've gotten some arrogant people on my porch. If it's, a kid from high school and, he's got that like wide-eyed, innocent look to him, I'm like, okay, look, I realize that you're new here. What's going on? Make
you
it
say
quick.
new to earth?
So I still have a scarf that I have to sew. But in the meantime, I did the other night fix a necklace for my aunt. It's like a holiday wooden bead kind of thing. I put it on some little gold plated jump rings, and it's got a magnetic clasp to make it easy for her.
You're kind of robotic again.
Oh, for crying out loud.
You're so nice though. Because I would have said an expletive.
Well, I've said an expletive or two when I've needed to. I try not to just say them out of hand and cuss willy-nilly.
My father rarely cursed, so when he did, it gave it power because everybody would start cleaning, start doing stuff.
All right, I'm going to try this again.
Okay.
We'll see. Maybe it'll stick this time. Goodness, my thing here. All right. Be right back.
Hello. So I made this earlier, and I can already feel how humongous the hood is. I agree with you, Pam. In no way, shape, or form am I dogging solar. And see, that's the problem. I already have a system at my house. I don't like to be braggy about what I have, but it's this guy who ruined Twitter. So I already have all that whiz bang stuff, and I totally agree with you with the solar, though.
I'm thinking of getting a wind turbine for my roof, a small one.
This, excuse me. I can't even see. This is awesome.
Wild wolf.
I agree, Ollie. Beware of. Do you know what my real weapon is? If you really come to my house, I'm going to talk to you for 45 minutes and make you regret it. This is super soft. The material I'm working with is more of this, the Lady of Guadalupe material. This is more of like a jersey material. I could actually make a really awesome pair of shorts with this. It's the weirdest thing. It feels like a basketball jersey, but this is so soft.
It looks it.
Mr. Modelo, man. See, that's the thing. I'm not a fabric snob, so I'm not like, and I'm not saying anyone is, but like when I go there, I'm like, oh, I like that. That looks good. I need stripes today. I need 10 yards of this. Like, so this was definitely a score from Modelo, man. But I'm going to switch my angle real quickly because I'm trying to finish old projects. I think it's time to finish all of these projects I have in this room. And I have a bad feeling that this week's Friday shows is going to be chocked full of stuff. So be ready.
Here, step to the side for a moment. That's a snazzy outfit on Mannequin Lady.
Oh, she's rocking full shaved head with a vest.
She looks great.
She's got a really expensive camera in her eye. So she's treated with nothing but respect. That mannequin's worth more than half the stuff in this room. But I really like the way this has come out. And I'm going to start adding to a lot of stuff. You should see the look on people's face when I walk in with my vest on with these guys on. They're like, where am I? You're in California, buddy. You're in California.
I like that. I like the way that hood drapes. Yeah, I think a wind turbine was first recommended to me by a friend of mine. And I looked into it, and apparently it's a much lower cost of installation. And if you live somewhere that's breezy, they work really well. So I thought that would be something that I would try out. And it's a little bit less environmental impact than a solar panel. So it's on the list of things to do.
I was thinking the same thing, David and David's, especially with that blue, gray, and white hood I made. It was giving me total Egyptian vibes.
I like that blue, gray, and white striped hood that you made.
I did too. That's the one I've been wearing around. That's but now I have quite a few, and I've been wearing the whatchamacallit, the tie-dye, because I'm in my tie-dye era. Do you know what's so funny? When I was a little kid, my cousin, she was really arts and crafty. She would always do tie-dye. I didn't like tie-dye, you know? Flash forward 100 years later, here I am wearing tie-dye. I was listening. I randomly heard White Snake, like 30 seconds of it on. I can't even remember what I was watching.
Wow.
And so I was watching Tawny Katane like 3 or 4 times. I made everyone at my job watch the video. I'm a good boss. The sad thing is, everybody, like, they looked at me. They're like, "Dude, you're the youngest person in the room. Do you remember this?" Because I'm like, "You guys remember this?" They're looking at me. They're like, "I was there, bro. Do you remember this?"
I saw Whitesnake in concert back in the day.
Oh, that. I've seen. Okay, this is kind of funny, but I've seen the Scorpions 6 or 7 times. And they're probably, like, honestly, if you look them up right now, they're probably still performing. I've seen them twice at the LA County Fair. I've seen them at the Bakersfield County Fair. Scorpions are, and the sad thing is, they still pack a house.
Mm-hmm.
Like 900 people showed up at Bakersfield. 1,000 something people showed up at the LA County Fair because there's an actual stadium, you know, at the fairgrounds, which I'll never understand. The LA County Fairgrounds is technically in Orange County.
Is it?
Yes, it's like right on that weird that's Orange County.
Huh. I thought it was like deep in LA.
Well, the more east you go, they meet each other.
Oh, okay. Hopefully see you in a bit, Butterfly. Butterfly says,
thank you so much for stopping by. I was bumping Whitesnake today, and then it reminded me of all the shows I've seen, though. But, like, I've seen really obscure shows because I go places, and they're like, "Oh, this band is playing." I'm like, "Really?" All right, so I'm about business tonight. So I'm going to sew the Lady of Guadalupe hood on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put it on the mannequin. Let's see, what else did I put in my notes? Oh, that OG guy makes me feel 105.
Which OG guy?
The guy who calls me OG, he might as well be calling me Gramps.
Oh no. That guy was back again and called you OG?
Well, his kid's in the class. But in a way, I'm like 15, you know, I'm almost 20 years older than him.
Yeah. There comes a time when you can no longer deny that You really aren't young anymore.
And I blame my buddy because we were talking and he was eavesdropping. And my buddy was like, I'm not old, but I'm old, but I haven't hit your age yet. And we giggled. See, but this person I've known since I was 11 years old, so he's allowed to jab at my age. Because I know exactly. He comes with references.
Yeah. When I hit 50, I could no longer deny anymore. I couldn't do it.
And you know, like right now, I shaved my beard off. I'm deciding if I want to grow my chin strap back. It's all gray. I accept it for what it is. I'm not like denying. I'm not like, you know. And I think that's the thing because I come from a way older family. I accept my age. I just don't like the way it looks. And like when I was younger, I just had to get up out of bed and I would lose 5 pounds. And now I look at a box of cookie and I gain 5 pounds. But I want to say, the Girl Scouts for some reason are still out, and I have stayed away from those demons. I should just buy 2 boxes and tape them on the side of my pants and walk away.
I've looked up LA County Fair, which says it's in Pomona, and Pomona is in LA County. So
Okay,
I'm
no, maybe I'm wrong. What's next to Pomona? Is Pomona near Orange County?
I don't think so.
Maybe because it's so far east for me, it takes me forever to get there from here. And you know where I live. So anything over an hour, I consider Orange County.
Well, are you thinking of the LA County Fair or are you thinking of the Orange County Fair down the 405?
I've only been to the LA County fairgrounds. I've never been to the Orange County Fair. I've been to the Ventura, Bakersfield. Do you know what's so sad? I knew I was kind of sick and not feeling well. I was watching Star Trek Lower Decks, and their ship is called the California class. And spoiler, I'm going to give a spoiler to season 3. They're on season 4, about to be season 5. But at the end of the season 3, they're going to discontinue the California class, and they have to prove themselves. And at the very end, one of the main characters, it's a long story, but she comes back and they're like, get out of here. You're going to get destroyed by this ship. California class can't take it. And she's like, of course they can't, but we have all of them. And they started naming off every town. I almost started crying. I was like, okay, it's time to go to bed. This is a sign to go to bed. But it's a good show. It's a good, it's Rick and Morty for Star Trek fans. And I've never, you know what? I was on Rajan's channel today, and there was a few shows that I haven't seen, and I love it when people are like, oh, they literally gasp when you like. I know this is gonna shock you. I never watched Friends.
I find I'm having a hard time believing that someone has managed to make it through life and avoid all episodes of Friends.
Well, like when it was on, I didn't watch it. And then remember from 1999 until my son was born, I didn't watch TV. So I avoided all the syndication. I avoided all of it because I was out and about, and it really was never my thing. Just like I say in Sanford and Son, in modern times, Fred Sanford's house and storefront would be like $10 million. And there's no way, even 3 of the friends were rich. There's no way they can afford to live there. In New York? Come on.
Well, people did complain about it, but also they had this whole explanation about this was like somebody's grandmother's apartment and it was a sublet and the whole. So they had the rent control and they did a sublet even though the grandmother had passed away. And
Ollie, I love you. The Girl Guides have an air tag on your car. I feel like they do. And they're everywhere. They're at my local grocery store, my Walmart. And the funny thing is, I've purchased boxes off of every single one of them. So they're looking me in the eye. They're like, why aren't you buying our overpriced cookies now? Huh? Huh? Like they're looking at me. Oh, it's awful.
Their little faces. So sad.
No, where I live, no one's hurting. They're not hurting around here. They're driving up in Teslas. They're wearing Uggs. Like no one's hurting where I live. And Ollie didn't watch Friends either.
Have you seen it since then, Alibaba? Alibaba says that they're old. How old are you, Alibaba? But only share if you want to. No pressure there.
It took me years to admit my age online. Years. Because it had nothing to do with anything else, and I didn't accept it.
I got very, very sick in my 30s, and so I feel like I've missed like a good chunk of years. So I don't want to like go back and relive, but I feel like I was robbed. Suddenly I'm old and I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't do all these things I was going to do.
But in that same sentiment, like the one cool thing is someone will be like, oh, this movie came out in like 2006. I haven't seen it. It's brand new to me. Like when I came back, do you know how shocked I was? I hadn't seen the last Star Trek movie. The one with Tom Hardy. I don't even want to give it away because it's so sad at the end of the movie. But like I had never saw when I bought it, it was a new movie to me. So there's that experience where you can re-experience something.
Well, you could have had that same experience 15 years ago.
And the funny thing is, I don't even I went through this weird, I guess I was going through stuff in that. And you know what? I might have been not even in this country, but when that movie came out, but I went through a heavy era of seeing movies by myself. Still to this day, I will go see a movie by myself.
I don't mind watching movies by myself at home. And I have gone to the movies by myself. But for me, going to the movies is more of like a shared experience. So I prefer to go with other people.
Do you talk during movies?
Not usually.
Okay, I'll still hang out with you.
I remember I saw, what was it? It was some big movie that came out probably 2019. And there was this couple beside me who got into a stupid argument right before the movie started. And then they're like still arguing as the movie's going. And then they had a little kiss and makeup. And then they're arguing again. I'm like, oh my word.
I don't know how I would react to like that. Because if they're loud enough where you can hear them, they're involving you in their drama.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, like go in the lobby and discuss this or something. I don't know. And then I remember I saw one of the James Bond movies. And I had gone, specifically to a late show. I like to go to late showings. It's not quite as crowded, but still people. And, you avoid the children. And this guy had come with his little boy. And the little boy was, he was engaged. He was enjoying the movie, but he was too young and did not know what was going on. So his dad was explaining the movie to his son while the movie was going on. And it's like, okay, do you want to be a complete heel and like tell him to shut up? But at the same time, it's like, why are you talking during this huge blockbuster movie on opening weekend? No,
that's not easy.
Oh,
Heck, I can remember penny candies, 10 for a penny. I was telling my son when I was a kid, we used to buy candy off the ice cream man for 10 cents each. Okay, but here's I'm no talking whatsoever during movies, but I've become quite feral because of the streaming era. Because I can I watched The Color Purple in this room, the new one. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't like. I have it was on television. I didn't know I had the channel, and I clicked on it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm paying for this channel." So I watched the New Color Purple. My whole point is, I was able to like go get a couple Pepsis. You know what I'm saying? Like I was able to chill out, walk away, come back. I
Yeah.
smoke in here. It's no secret, you know. This is why the drive-in was so nice. Do you know what's so funny? In the 2000s, well, in 1999-ish, I lived in Arizona, and that was one of the last places I knew that had a few drive-ins because they had the
When
space out in the desert.
and drive-ins were, they were around for a while when I was in my youth. But I actually have a scar on my forehead. You probably can't see it in the camera, but when I was really, really little, I was at the drive-in with my family, and I was just so impressed by all the stars. I was leaning out the window. Ooh, look at all the stars! And I fell out of the window, and my poor mother. It's a wonder I didn't get brain damage because I face planted onto the pavement, and I don't remember falling,
Of
but
course
I
you don't.
do.
That's called trauma.
but I do remember being in the bathroom with my mother when she's trying to like clean up the blood from my face. And then she's like, oh no, she lost one of her only teeth, but it was a piece of popcorn.
Oh, so that was a real shablam. That's a full shablam. When you think your teeth are falling out, that's a full like. Oh wow. All right, let
I
me
think the
hang this up. I
I
have
think
good memories of drive-ins. I I I recently found pictures of where my whole family we went and saw Gremlins at a drive-in theater. Fun fact: that place is now where my storage unit is.
oh goodness. I think the last movie I saw in the theater was or in the at the drive-in was the Robin Hood with Kevin Costner. And
I will die for you. I'll cry for you. That's such a
it,
good song.
it was a double feature. And so they started it kind of early, but what they had was Robin Hood and then the other movie that I can't remember and then Robin Hood again. And it started so early that all those scenes in the beginning of the movie in the darkness you couldn't see because it wasn't dark enough outside. So we
Oh,
watched
that's awful.
Yeah, we watched it and then we watched the second feature and then we stayed to see the beginning that we hadn't been able to see and we ended up just watching the whole thing twice.
Oh man, I miss double features. The movie theater they just tore down from my house used to have double features. I'm not trying to age myself, but I still love The Rocketeer because of that place.
Mm.
And I may or may not have saw Bambi in the theaters. I know. If you remember Bambi, don't forget to take aspirin in the morning. Oh, now I have Brian Adams just stuck in. Is it Brian Adams? Everything you do. What is
Yeah.
it? Is
Yeah.
I
But you're
look
right, it
like
is a good song, or at least, one I enjoy. It's got the
I look like
soaring
sewing him.
melodies. Hmm?
That's a good movie. And I have a couple of family members that kind of look like Morgan Freeman, so it trips me out. I knew a couple people that look like him. Okay, so I'm gonna start sewing on my Lady Guadalupe hood.
All right.
I'm in love with this look. Who knew I was gonna grow up to dress like a Skittle? Okay, so back to my solicitor thing. Is it rude that when I walk out and they're like, "Oh, we need you to sign this petition and blah blah blah," I always say, "Oh, I've already signed," and it works 99.999% of the time.
Well,
Is that rude?
I mean, why do you say I've already signed instead of I'm not interested? Please go away.
It's less words.
Hmm.
I told you I'm nice. I have this nice problem where I don't want to be rude to people, even though I think that they're rude. But that is my go-to when I tell people, "Oh, I've already signed." Oh, I wish Kilroy was here. My local Walmart. I asked today because I only had a few minutes because I had to go pick up Isaiah, but I needed that some green lining, and if there's one color I do not have in here, it's green. Gently, gently, gently letting people down is the most polite thing that you can do.
Well, you can politely say, thanks for stopping by, but I'm not interested.
No, it stops the conversation. Every time it stops the conversation dead in their tracks. They're like, thank you. There was one lady though in front of the 99. I walked out and she's like, do you want to petition to stop smash and grab robberies? I was like, I already signed. She looked down at the clipboard. I told myself, just start walking and looking forward. Just keep walking, buddy. Just keep walking. Because I guarantee you it's a new petition because I'd never heard anyone say that. So she knows I didn't sign. Awesome. I know I need more coffee.
I'm going to soon as I finish my augmented soup.
I'm still doing laundry. I live in a laundromat is what it is. I'm loving this look. And it's nice and toasty. I don't have to have 5 coats on with this. The hood is the global warming effect is going on. It's capturing the heat under here. And I'm not kidding you. I pulled out quite a few shirts. I showed this the other day, but there's a good stack here.
All right.
So this week's Friday Sews is going to be funny. But I'm also going to try to make something that's not a hoodie. A hoodie, considering that's what I've been doing a lot lately. But I'm in an era. I'm in a phase, and I'm in love. Maybe this is my secret, my wish to have hair. I haven't had hair since there was a 19 in front of the year.
Good old 1900s. I just looked up Jaws because I couldn't remember when it came out. It came out in 1975. That was like the year before Star Wars, wasn't it? Or no, Star Wars, I guess, was 77. But I think Jaws in the theater might have been really scary.
You know, one of them came out the year I was born, so I'm a bad reference to ask. And I won't say, hey, when you're gonna quit. The burlap sack hoods we're gonna need to invent a 12-step program. Hey, Kilroy, how's it going?
I was worried you weren't feeling well.
Me too. Let me practice. My name's William, and I'm an addict. I can't stop sewing giant peasant hoods. Hi, my name's William, and I'm an addict. I can't stop sewing giant peasant hoods. Work in progress, work in progress.
Did you see the little lined cap that Morgan Donner made? The lined winter cap?
No.
And make one of those.
Well, I hope you feel better. We're here for you to tell crummy jokes, and I'm here to whine about my day.
I was going to say, you might be here and not feeling well. I understand.
Oh. Well, we're here for you.
You can amuse yourself later with hammering out plans to move to California.
I'm trying to think. Well, where's my nose? There was something else where I was like, Sewingfeld needs to complain about this. Like, yeah. Oh, now that you are here, Kilroy, now that I remember, they completely shut down the self-checkout at my local Walmart. And they have self-checkout, and they have these weird aisles where someone's just standing there and they check your receipt. They shut all of those down. I go there a lot. I'm on first name basis with the employees. So I walk up to my man, Liam, because I love that name. If your name is Liam, I love you already because that's half of my name. And so I walk up to Liam and I'm like, tell me the truth, bro. And he looked at me and he's like, people have been pilfering so much we had to shut down that entire aisle. And he said it's shut down indefinitely.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
But like I go there every other day. I live at Walmart. That's the most American thing about me. That and I eat a lot of cheeseburgers. I just don't talk about it because it's an unhealthy habit. But like I don't see anybody. See, but I'm in my own little world. First off, I'm a shopper. I know what I want. I'm not looking at I'm paying attention to myself, you know. Not surprised self-checkout is extremely susceptible to theft.
Hmm. I'm not a fan of self-checkout. The machines yell at you.
Nothing wrong with an unhealthy habit. Dang right, Gilroy. It was just so strange to me. Like the Walmart by my house is in one of the most. It's in a ritzy neighborhood, and my Walmart is called the Ghetto Walmart. And it's in like, but for some reason, the Walmart by my house, I mean, it's like Shaun of the Dead. I walk around, I mind my own business. No one messes with me. I don't mess with anybody else. You got to have at least one vice in my fly. You know, it's so funny. My grandfather used to always say, if you don't smoke or drink, I don't trust you. But he was basically
Uh-oh.
saying, like, if you don't have a vice, I'm gonna look at you crazy. What's wrong with you? Yay, how's it going, Alibaba? Oh, that totally reminded me of my grandfather.
I guess my vices would be books and sewing machines.
I have both of those, as I'm skipping over one book that I didn't like, and I'm going to number 4 was depressing, so I'm going to number 5. I'm
Oh,
reading my
goodness.
Star Trek books in order.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's been a while. This angle has grown, and I have a giant television at my feet that somebody here advised me to get rid of.
Who could that be?
But now it is just this giant television right here. Hold on, let me make it big so we can see ourselves in time delay.
Oh, goodness.
I
Trying to
didn't know what to
distract
do with
me.
it. And I'm if you give me something, I brought that television back to life. I can't just chuck it in the trash.
Donate it. Give
I
it
don't,
to a needy teenager.
but you have to hit the reset button every time to turn it on. I just use it as a default monitor.
Well, maybe a needy teenager wouldn't care. That's the next thing. We'll work on you, Kilroy. Stop smoking. Stop smoking. Is it working? Stop smoking.
And you know what? I'm not dogging on teetotalers at all. I'm not. I was raised by pirates. Like, in no way, shape, or form am I dogging on teetotalers. I'm actually envious. And there was someone I used to hang out with, and she domesticated me in a lot of ways because she taught me how to drink tea. Like for real, because she was,
Oh,
English.
that's not what a teetotaler is.
No, I know.
Oh,
But I'm
okay.
using it. I'm combining the two. I'm continuing on the story.
Got you. Got you.
Now I have goody two shoes stuck in my head again. Two shoes, two shoes. You don't drink, you don't smoke. Such a good song. I might have more vices. No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no judgment here. It's Vice
Well,
City in here.
Alibaba, are you talking about vices or are you talking about actual vices? Are you talking about vices or are you talking about, you know?
Yeah, but that's the kind of line when I'm trying to be honest to somebody when I meet them, and I tell them, "Hey, I have more baggage than an airport. You really want to go down? You want to go down that terminal? You really?" It's when you're trying to help, you trying to warn people. See, I even come with disclaimers in real life. Oh man, now Goody Two Shoes is stuck. And Kilroy, I agree with you. Like, trust me, I agree with you.
Well, everyone has to manage their life their own way.
I'm gonna apologize in advance. I oiled this thing, but this machine was like, "You're neglecting me." It screamed at me today.
Oh
So
dear.
we're gonna see how it was so clacky, and then I oiled it, and it was like, "What is wrong with you?"
Did you run some fabric through in case you've got some oil drips?
Yeah. Oh, I completely sopped it up. I had a piece under here the entire time I was gone. I wiped it away because this material is like jersey material. It will show oil. It's back to the chopper sound. It was so clacky. I was embarrassed. As someone who fixes sewing machines, I actually knew the problem on this one. It still has that "get to the chopper" sound though. Oh, this hood is actually hot. Alexa, what's the temperature right now?
Right now, it's 53 degrees Fahrenheit.
Look, I'm from the west coast of California, okay? I get cold. Oh, are you bunching? I don't want to give up on this machine because it's been such a workhorse, but that singer I got, it works like it's brand new, so it's waiting in the wings. It's sitting on the bench looking at everybody like, "Put me in, coach."
Did you defluff this machine when you oiled it?
This guy needs some love, okay? I'm not denying that I have not utterly and completely just hammered this machine. I got my baggage in a Samsonite warehouse. Exactly. But I tell people the truth, like, look.
Uh-oh. Alibaba's taking the villainous route.
Get to the chopper. Poor guy. I am the real life Donnie Don't. Don't do what Donnie Don't does. I told you about Donnie Don't. When I was a kid, KCAL 9, well, television used to have these things called afternoon cartoons, and they was on Saturday morning, and they were also on after school hours. And Donnie Don't smoked cigarettes. Donnie Don't did all these evil things. And I am the real life Donnie Don't. Donnie Don't cross the street without looking. Donnie Don't was bad. But their saying was, don't do what Donnie Don't does. Ollie, can you look at this link and tell me what you think about the machine?
Ooh, pull it up for us to all see.
Well, I clicked on it and it's showing you, but it won't let me click it on my computer. I'd have to
Can
send
you
it to
take a
myself.
little screen cap and then show us?
No, every time I click on it, it just goes straight to that. As he has Goody Two Shoes stuck in his head. Do you think it's because I watched a lot of MTV as a child? And listened to the radio?
Mm-hmm. But catchy songs are catchy.
Like, no joke. I'm not even kidding you. I didn't think anything of Boy George as a kid, and I loved Do You Really Want? I loved that song, and everyone was like, "Really?" I'm like, "What?" I was too young to understand the implications behind it. I just like the song, Man, I'm really aging myself.
I mean, that's a standard thing people go through. Heartbreak.
Let me mute myself.
Let's see. Kilroy says, I even look up when I cross the street. With my luck, if I didn't, a UFO would land on me. You know, UFOs, they're stealthy. They swoop in, they grab you. Next thing you know, you're in a field. You don't know what happened to you. Did you ever watch People of Earth, Kilroy?
No, but I watched Fire in the Sky at a very inappropriate age, and it made me scared to walk in the woods until I was almost 30. And I actually lived, and I've actually been to the place where Fire in the Sky happened.
People of Earth is it's a comedy, and it's got, you know, some of the same people that you see in you know, that one about Oregon and like the Dot Beston show, and it's, you know, it's a little bit it's drama and very like self-aware and making fun of itself, and you know, like faux interviews and things like that.
Okay, I'm cool with that. There was one about a woman who got abducted in like Anchorage or something. It was on Netflix. I am extremely skeptical, and I couldn't watch it at night.
Well, People of Earth is a comedy.
Awesome.
So it's not scary. And it's this guy who he's a journalist, and he's really struggling to, you know, to get a job, and he gets sent out to interview these people who have an abductee support group in this little small town. Only what the audience knows and other people don't know is that, yes, the abductions are real, and there are aliens and alien bureaucracy, and it's very funny.
Oh, Joy Free 99 is the best. I've never turned down a free machine. I even have 2 machines that I've picked up off the streets of Los Angeles. One I made a video about.
Ooh, go get it. Go get it. I want to see a picture of this machine.
All right, I'm going to put this shirt on. The head hole was kind of tight, so if you hear ripping, that's my ears. I'm kidding.
I try to stay away from Facebook because they're evil. But
I made a lot of money on there, and I'm proud because I have yet to purchase a sewing machine on Facebook Marketplace, but I've sold a few.
Now, is it one of those where they say it's free, but then when you get there, they are not willing to let it go for less than $700 or something?
That's why you have to show up. Hold on, let me switch my camera. Next time you do something like that, let me know, and I'll show up with 15 of my friends on motorcycles. I'm serious. I'm serious. They'll be like, okay, it's free.
Well,
They won't try to punk you.
Because you know, sometimes you message someone on the OfferUp and you're like, great, is this still available? And they're like, yes, it is. It's $500. And you're like, wait a minute.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. Okay, I'm going to switch this shirt out for the other one. Let's see how it looks.
Excuse me.
As I now have Boy George stuck in my head.
We're ready? We're excited? Ready to see this hood?
2 revealed already. I'm going to go hood crazy this week. And I feel like adding patches on a lot of the stuff I bought too.
Mm-hmm. That is your thing? You do have plenty of patches?
My mannequin looks like a Delton from Star Trek because she has no hair. You know, I can't believe I just gave a gender to a piece of plastic. I'm one of those people where it's a working tool. I'm not scared of mannequins. I don't like, you know, that whole Doctor Who episode was amazing. Please tell me you've seen the saddest movie ever, man. The 1980s mannequin movie.
Ah, yes, I have seen that.
That is the sad. I remember as a kid, I'm like, why did they make this?
I mean, I don't appreciate it when people like gender machinery, and it seems like it's always like a woman for reasons.
Are you talking
But
about when
um
Scotty genders everything as a female on Star Trek?
but you know, if you've got like a mannequin in a female form or a mannequin in a male form, then I don't have a problem with calling it a he or a she. Or who knows, you know, maybe it's a non-binary mannequin. How are you dressing it?
Oh,
What
good
backstory are you
grief.
giving it?
It's like I said, it's my working tool. I love these things because they're my exact height. Oh, this one might rip because I have a giant cabeza.
Ooh, a large printer?
Oh,
That would be
fit.
worth getting, Joy, especially if you print online patterns so that you don't have to do the whole tape together business.
Oh, this fits.
Seems worth it to me. Oh, Alibaba said the same thing. Well, you did discuss that he could have the cozy room and then you could have the larger room for the sewing tables. Sounded very reasonable to me. Well, there you go. Oh, I like the green lining on that hood with that shirt.
It's the whole reason I went to Walmart today. Mission accomplished. Let's show off the hood with the green. I see way too many machines, and when they say I have a problem with enter name here, I don't know what they're talking about. It comes from the old ship tradition. It was considered the height of bad luck to not refer to the ship as a woman. You could get kicked out of the crew in most cases, or even marooned if you did it.
Mm.
Wow. I did grow up in a Navy house. Thank you, Joy. Thank you. I'm gonna I'm gonna start adding hoods and anything where I can't find its same matching material. I'm just gonna add black since I have miles of black material.
Mm. Do you have white as well?
I really do not work with white, and it's more or less a thing of because I have a heavy job, I don't wear light colors.
Mm.
And it's not even anything personal. But like when I do wear white, it's spectacular because I don't ever wear it. Oh, I can see myself on that giant TV. Beautiful. That's perfect for people with bad eyes. I can see you rolling your eyes.
Well, you know, if you switch it out for one of the other TVs, that would be a reasonable thing. But having a spare TV on the floor is not a good idea.
Darth Lady of Guadalupe. Patent pending. I like that. If I wore this with my godless sewing vest, they would start fights where I'm from. I had a shirt where I took the name tag Jesus and put it upside down, and I had an old. It's a shirt I made. Every time I wore it, someone would try to fight me when I left the house. Not physically, but they would start yelling things at me.
Mm-hmm.
Our Darth. I like that. I like that. I'm gonna wear this to Alvaro Street and see what people say. They'll probably say they love it. Even with my like Mother Mary thing, people don't know that. Like they don't know my intentions. Every time someone sees that vest, they're like, I love your vest. And I'm like, this is the exact opposite reaction I thought it would have. Because on the front it says all kinds of crazy stuff, but people don't read, they don't read my vest. They just look at the big pictures on the back.
Mm-hmm. They think you've got lots of blessings on you.
So it's hilarious it's the funniest thing. It's like people all the time because they're not looking at like my vest. It's the craziest thing. I love how this came out. How big is the hood? Oh, I can grab it. It's huge.
But it tapers as opposed to being like super wide and bulbous on the bottom, it kind of tapers down.
Well, I do that on purpose. I'm getting better and better at making these hoods. I'm trying not to go full wizard where it's like, peaks down to almost like a nightcap look.
Uh-huh.
But I'm trying to not go full wizard.
I mean, that's an option. You've got so many hoods that you're putting on. Why not have some variety?
Should I go full fashion designer and make one down to the floor? Yeah, hello, happy maker.
Happy.
Do you know what, Joy? It's so funny. I was thinking if I put handles on here, I could put groceries in here. If I put but I'd need some serious handles. Yeah, great to see you, happy maker. Great to see you. Yay. I've also finished the shirt behind me. I'm gonna be finishing a lot of the shirts that I started. I'm gonna be taking away. I don't know. I'm gonna get really artsy with them. Awesome, great to see you. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us. I love the color of this. This color absolutely pops. This reminds me of the Kenti print, but really it's the green with the red and the yellow. And I love this look. And this material is not as heavy as the woven fabric. That thing was retaining heat. This is like a mesh jersey. Awesome.
It's the Lady of Guadalupe fabric is a mesh, do you say?
It's like it's a step up from a basketball jersey, but it's a mesh. And it's weirdly stretchy. It reminds me of basketball jersey material, but it's not as porous. But when you look really close, it is a jersey material. I have shorts that are made out of I have athletic shorts that are made out of this material. That's what I said. I was like, okay, activewear, Guadalupe activewear. And the funny thing is, every time I go back, I cannot stop buying yards of this stuff because it's so intriguing to me. But it's the color. It's the color. I love how the color pops on this. My Friday sews is going to be... I'm going to start filming it tomorrow because I'm going to have quite a few things. Oh, that reminds me. I'm starting to fill my thing. I'm going to have to buy a bigger... is there terabytes? I'm going to have to buy a bigger external storage.
Mm-hmm.
Like a huge one this time.
Alibaba's getting coffee. I think I need to go get coffee from the kitchen.
Oh, that green looks good.
Yeah, that's what we said.
I know, but I haven't looked up close,
Oh, okay.
I have a mirror right here. I kind of peeked just to make sure I don't look too crazy.
Uh-huh.
I was actually shocked that my head was able to go directly through. I guess I actually measured, and so it is proportioned to the size of my head. For some reason, it looked too small, though.
The hood looked too small? Or the collar, the neck hole looked too small?
The neck hole looked too small. But I'd make ginormous 1980s, Fame style.
Well, did you wax your head today so it would just slide right on through?
I am a bit shiny today. It's more lighting, though. What's that?
Your hood looks good flop down to show off the lining too.
See, that's why sometimes I've learned with certain woven fabrics, they look the same on both sides. But this was a completely different color on the other side, so And I told you I've been watching a judge show, and in my head I constantly have the debate of lining or no lining, and somebody recently almost got sent home for not having lining. I was sitting in this room, I'm like, oh, you see you add lining to everything.
Well, it depends on what it is and what and if you're lining with or what effect you're trying to have, or lots of stuff. It looks small because the coffee cup was right beside it.
I like this. This is Evil Emperor sewing with the green popping out in the back. What are you doing on my planet?
Actually, you should do one of those with some boning or like a long zip tie or something, so you get so that structure and it stays wide and open like that. That
I've
was
been
great.
I'm trying, with my bald head though, that's just Megamind. That is just straight that movie
Oh,
Megamind.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean sticking up. I meant being like open in the back, like with the
I love that look. You're right though. I do. I
yeah.
love that because when I've made hoods that are even larger, and with that stiff material, it sticks like that. It's like I'm walking around with a basket behind me. I have my own very particular fashion, and like I make my own clothes. I like how I look.
You could do like almost like an open mock turtleneck and then put
Ooh,
some structure in it so that it stays open and like frames your head with an awesome color or a print or something.
I really like that idea. I really like that idea.
Alibaba coming with the jabs. It might look like a billiard table pocket with a clean shaven head.
True. It's true though.
Got
It's
the
true.
green belt, a clean head.
I love how this looks, how this came out. And I can go for the Evil Emperor sewing look where you can see me, but I can't see you. Whenever I watch when I was younger, Return of the Jedi was my movie. That was like, and even when I lived in Portland and I didn't have television and I had these things called rabbit ears, I obsessively would watch the first well, I guess it's the fourth now, and then Return of the Jedi. I loved that movie, but I'd always think, how could Palpatine look through his hood? Because it's down here. It's literally like I can't see anything right here.
Maybe it's that kind of fabric that you can see out, but people can't see in.
That is true. Because on my sequence cape, because of Joy, I didn't add lining on the hood, and I can completely see through the hood, so I can put it completely over my face. But you can't see mine. I
Alibaba
agree.
agrees with me.
Ollie and I are in agreement. That color green made me think of it. Oh, you said color in the non English way. I'm proud of you. You didn't put a U in there. When I first started streaming, I hung out with a lot of people from the UK, and there was these weird points of contention. We ended up arguing over food and language most of the time. It was the strangest thing to me.
That is a good point, Alibaba.
Palpatine could see using the Force. It's so funny. Of all the Star Trek books I've read a ton of Star Wars books too. All the Darth Banes, all the Michael Stackpole books. I'm like
I've
looking at a few Michael Stackpole. I translated to American. Is that real? Is there or I guess American English is a thing.
yeah.
That's me and my exceptionalism, not realizing that everybody else on Earth exists. And they may have to identify how we speak.
I do like the British spelling of gray better.
Mm-hmm.
The EY just seems more appropriate.
See, Kilroy and I are on the same boat. People who argue about variants of English are strange. Dialects are dialects. In America, you could take Louisiana is a perfect example. I went to New Orleans, and it's like a different planet. A bunch of times I'd have to tell people, "What'd you say? I'm so sorry." And then I'd have to whisper. And we're from the same country.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you 100%. It just depends on how someone speaks. I've lived in so many places. I can talk differently and different types. You know what? I talk differently And I could do it in 2 seconds because where I'm from, people actually talk like this all the time. I talk like this unironically, but I realized like you can't talk like this online because like not everybody's from Southern California. So I switched it up real quick. Real quick.
I think that people forget the importance of code switching in like in the good sense. You know, you have different ways of speaking and writing for different situations. You know, if you're writing some professional something, you write that in a different way than, you know, sending a text to your best friend of 40 years. And, you know, there are things that are correct in each of those scenarios, but you can't like take the rules for one scenario and try to apply them to a different one.
That's true. But it's also like you have to realize the world's a big place, I think is what it is, you
Right.
know? And not
Exactly.
everybody speaks. I traveled around, so I realized really quick, not everybody talks like this.
What?
And I agree with you, Kilroy. Louisiana, Massachusetts. Okay, I've actually been to Massachusetts. That's another place where I was like, come again? Sorry. West Coaster. I did not catch that.
I was talking to this guy from Boston, and I asked him at one point, I'm like, oh, how long have you been in California? And he said, 4 years. And I'm like, oh, wow, that just came out.
I actually knew a woman from New Hampshire, and I didn't realize that New Hampshire had an accent until I met her. And I'm like, oh, they have deep accents in New Hampshire. But like she had never been out of New Hampshire and she came straight from there to California, you know.
Understandable, Kilroy.
It's true. It's so true. The world isn't just your town. I agree with that.
I saw there was a YouTuber, and he lived in Japan and had been there for, you know, a few years, and he was talking about his experience moving there and learning Japanese and all of that. And his Japanese teacher had been a woman, and I don't know like why she didn't explain this to him, but there are very gendered ways of speaking in Japan. And so this guy, after living in Japan for like 2 years or something like that, finally figured this out. And because, you know, he was a man and identified as a straight male, he started changing his language. And he's telling people about this, and they just said, oh, well, we just thought you were gay. Because they spent the first 2 years in living in Japan talking like a woman. People made assumptions.
That actually happened to me. There was a few nomenclatures and a few things that I had picked up, and I was hanging out with only women in Spanish, and I didn't realize that that's, you know, like you said, there's very gendered, you know, and I didn't realize that's not how it meant. And I said something, and a friend of mine was like, I'm so glad you said that to me first. Don't say that to anybody else. They're going to get the wrong impression. I don't even want to say it out loud because I now know what it means. But it sounded so cool because they would say it to each other all the time. And I loved it. But it was not meant for me. But that's in a different, that's like, I was in Mexico. It's a very different world. You know, it's very left and right there, you know. In the words of Seinfeld, not that there's anything wrong with that. He was kawaii.
Kawaii.
I said that. It's my accent. Don't judge me.
Oh, I was trying to help. Sorry.
I know. I'm just. When I was younger, I used to talk like this. So I still do speak very tongue-tied. Speech therapy works. I say it all of the time. That's why you'll hear me slow down and actually sound out the word. Because I want to talk at 100 miles an hour. But I have, Sylvester tongue.
Suffering succotash.
I'd have to practice now to get back there. I spent years to learn how to speak the Kings. Are you kidding me? All right. So I think I'm gonna I don't know if I should make another hood. I've already made 2 hoods today. I need to finish this pile though. I'm gonna take a quick break and figure out what I'm gonna do. because there's like 75 things I want to do. I found my tub of thread, so I want to finish my pants, but I've been cleaning. I found like 4 or 5 pants that need slow stitching.
You
And
could
that's
slow.
oh, sorry.
Oh no, you could slow stitch and have a chat with us.
That is true. You know what? You're right. I do need to get on that before that goes the way of the dodo. Because these pants have been sitting here for 2 weeks, and they were my everyday wearing pants, and they've out of commission.
Uh-oh.
So I had to find new everyday wearing.
I have a hood idea.
Okay.
You could do like a collar, like this wide or whatever, and have it be like a collar integrated scarf situation.
Ooh, I really like that. I'm also thinking about making a fake Fendi. Well, when I say Fendi, I'm copying a design of Fendi. It's it looks like a scarf. The complete front of it runs down the garment completely, but the sweatshirt is built into the scarf.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so sick. I've seen the real version of it and the bootleg version. I almost bought the downtown version, but they wanted $60 and the real version is 150. And to me, that's really close.
Mm. Yeah.
If it was like 25, I would have bought the bootleg, And it's super fake materials that I could buy downtown and make my own,
Mm-hmm.
I have many ideas about that.
I'm gonna go make a coffee.
Okay.
I'll be in the chat, keeping an eye on things, stirring trouble up. I lost my slipper. Oh, okay, found it again. I'll be back.
All right, I'm gonna clean up a few things before I don't know what project I'm gonna start yet. I haven't decided. There's
Decisions.
there's a ton of stuff to do. Yeah, I guess I should start. I have a bunch of pants that I sew to make my own clothes. I make my own clothes. I do all these practical things, but I'm also like I repair my jeans because I work a hardcore job. I would fix the pants. I know. I should. All right. All right. So these pants need to be fixed. I have been sewing on these pants for quite a few years. I made the patches for these, and I'm not going to stop until these pants are one giant patch. I've learned though to not put red on the back of pants because it gives people the wrong impression. They look at you crazy. But these definitely need to be fixed. They're starting to disintegrate though, because these are old. I've made every single one of these patches. But these pants are where is it? Right there. These things are starting to disintegrate. And you can see where I put everything in my pockets on the right hand side because that is trashed. So those need to be fixed. It's funny because whenever I'll put them on and something pops off and I'm like, I can fix that. But these but these pants are ancient. And then are these are a brand new pair of pants where the fly fell off. The zipper fell off. Ugh. And wash the shops you use. Absolutely. Use the sleeves of the vest. Very good idea. I actually just washed everything. I flash fried those sleeves because I was like, you know what? Let me wash them again. These came from a very suspect place. I have a pair of pants like that. My husband just shakes his head at me. I I love patching pants, Happy Maker. It's a like a hobby of mine. And I've started on these. I love lighter denim. I started wearing I I wear light denim every day. It's a weird thing, but I've started working on these, but the patch is starting to fall off. There we go. And after a while, you might be able to recognize I use patches, like, nothing goes to waste, but I've made a shirt out of that material. But I added a patch just to reinforce everything. So I'm gonna slow stitch. I'm gonna completely slow stitch around this because I want to save these pants. And they don't fit until that like point of where they're about to disintegrate. I don't know. Pants are the funniest thing. Red brown doesn't work there. So true. I've learned that the hard way. You need to do one with embroidery that says, "Tell me I'm pretty." I'm not trying to draw that kind of attention. I live in my county. There's 10 million people. I'm not trying to draw that kind of attention. Sir, this is this a you problem? Not everybody is as hung. Oh, the Panthers. Thank you, Happy Maker. Thank you. They don't fit until that point, right until they're about to disappear in the washer just from age. All right, let me find my tin. Where? Oh, good, it's right there. I got this from my grandmother. I have the other one, but I had a couple tins. This one I converted to my stuff. The other one, there's a bunch of Lazy Susans in there. I'm not Lazy. What was it called? Sewing Susan. It was called Sewing Susan. It was just a cardboard box that would hold needles. It was awesome. I'll find it. But I have a ton of thread in my disorganized fashion. This I use only for slow stitching and sashiko, but it depends on what I'm using. And I can tell, like, this thread is Amazon thread because it's two-tone. This I bought at Michael's. If it's one tone, there's a Michael's by my house. This is the only thing they're good for. They no longer sell stuff that's up my alley anymore. So I buy a ton of, but it's affordable. This segment is brought to you by Tell Me You've Got Nalgas Without Telling Me You've Got Nalgas. Thank you, Water. Thank you. All right, so now I have to find my slow stitching needle that I hope is in here. Yeah. See, if you practice, I left it in one place and it's still there. All right, perfect. So with this, I usually I'll hand stitch it and then I come back through with the sewing machine just to make sure. I'll secure in certain places. This particular patch I'm making a little bit more huge because I'm tired of the rips underneath. And it's not until I feel the wind where I'm like, oh, these pants are ripped. All right, so let's pick a color. What color should I use? What color should I use? I already have this weird red flower. I'm using a denim patch, and we're all gonna laugh because I serged it. So you're saying you're mostly divorced with my long Michael and I do not talk anymore. I have a sewing needle wallet. Awesome. Oh, green. Ooh, okay. I do have this. I like these weird two-tone ones. I don't know what I was thinking. That was another 3 a.m. buy where I was like, That's something I don't have. Let me buy this for no reason on Amazon. Use one you haven't used in forever. Well, I started, like I said, putting red on your pants is not a good idea, and I learned that because like it gives the wrong impression. So I'm gonna use green. Let's go with green. Why not? And I'm dying to use these weird two-tone ones. If you hear young Mr. Sewing, he's working out in the living room and he's rocking out. But I remember that era. You find music that's annoying to your parents, you play it loudly. Good times. Good times. And I respect that era. Perfect. Or blend a similar color. I love how you put it both ways. You put it so everyone can understand. You gotta watch it wearing red and simple. Do you know what's so sad? That's kind of true. Like I told you, like I didn't wear red, but it wasn't for any other reason than I just didn't wear it. And like I will not wear my red hat in certain situations. And it's sad but true. And if I was to go out of town, I'd wear my red hat. Because no one would know my affiliation with anyone, you know. Okay. So normally I double thread. I'm debating if I should double thread on this or not. I might. I like that look of how thick it is when you double thread it. And this is weirdly two-toned. So I want to see how it looks with the two different tones. So I always make a mistake of making the thread way too long. So I'm going to try not to make it a mile long because if you make it too long, you end up bunching. Bumble bunching will happen if you make it too long. That's with that's like hand sewing 101. I've had to learn the hard way. I don't know if he's singing or talking trash to people on his Oculus. But my son is in there having a time of his life. Yay! Hello, hello. You need a patch that says streets see no color. Just popping in to say hi. Hey, hello, hello. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love this jacket. Hello. Nose to arm, so you're not overextended. I like that. I'm not just laughing at that. I actually like that. I have this really weird habit, especially when I'm hand sewing like patches. I will put an extraordinary long amount of thread on there and it's not needed. Let's be real, it's not needed. And then I start bunching, I get mad at myself and I have to rip it and I'm like, why did I do this to myself? So I'm trying to not repeat that. As this needle is not as big as the other one, but I will get it through because I'm stubborn. Whoa. Hello, hello, everybody. Awesome. Awesome. Yay. Hello. Yay. That is the hand sewing rule, arm's length. For some reason, I love like large amounts of I've been hand sewing. I never stopped hand sewing all throughout my life. Like, I would personalize all my clothes. When I lived in Portland, Oregon, I worked at a Carl's Jr. and I had shoes for cruise shoes, and I put patches on the tongues because I was trying to be a rebel. Oh, this is being stubborn. Yay. Hello, hello.
Howdy.
Oh, I don't even want to look up because we lost. I bet we lost.
No.
Oh, we were playing Edmonton tonight, and when I looked up, it was 4-2. We're not having a good. The Kings are not having a good season this year. You can't
I've
win them
been
all.
to Edmonton.
Really?
hmm
That's awesome.
There's a massive shopping mall there, or at least there used to be, and it was like the biggest in North America or the biggest in the world. There was a water park and a skating rink.
Bigger than the one in Minnesota that I've been to.
Mall of America.
Yeah,
Um,
they have an amusement park in the middle of the mall.
I mean, I don't know, like maybe Mall of America like took first place or something from West Edmonton, but for a while there, Edmonton was biggest.
That's crazy. I will be watching this in full tomorrow. Yay! Thank you, Stan. Thank you. Today in King's Corner. Do you know what's so funny? That's an actual show I watch every week. Or they show it over and over and over, but I actually love King's Corner because it's grown adults talking hockey. Oh, this is bothering me. I might just go one just so I can start sewing. I don't know where the larger needle is. I'm just going to go one so I can start sewing.
So tell me, do you knot your thread or do you tie a knot with your first stitch?
I tie a knot.
This is, hotly contested in certain sewing circles.
I had to stop and think about it. I had to legitimately be like, whoa, I just start sewing, ma'am. Total Forrest Gump.
When I was a kid, a teenager, I guess, and a tween, my family took me there because, malls were the thing then. But we went to go to the water park. And then another time my aunt took me, we went to go ice skating because she was a professional skater.
Okay, that's humongous. Sorry. I'm so sorry. If it has a submarine, that's humongous. Oh, the one in Minnesota was interesting because up until then, I'd only been in the Del Amo Mall. That was the largest mall I had ever been in. And then I went to the one in Minnesota and they had a Knott's Berry Farm in it. I think it was Knott's.
Yeah, I think Edmonton also has like some roller coasters and things. But I don't know which one wins, Mall of America or West Edmonton Mall. I don't even know if West Edmonton Mall is still open because, malls have been going the way of the dodo.
I was going to say the exact same thing, twin. I was going to say the exact same sentence. I'm trying to. One of the reasons I'm going so far out is because I made a huge patch. So I'm literally going to outline my patch.
That makes sense. And also, if you have a little patch, it can look like you've got some questionable stain in the,
Yeah, you have to be careful patching pants because you do get, like I said, I've learned because I have a huge red swash on the back of my pants, and quite a few people have been like, "Hey, are you?" And then they walk away when they realize it's just red fabric.
You're not hemorrhaging.
Well, it looks like a giant road rash gash. But I didn't think about it because I was trying to be artsy. I was trying to be like, hey, let me add some color to these drabby jeans. And like more than one person walked up to me, was like, are you okay? And I'm like, no. No, I'm not okay. Thank you for asking. I'm not. I put red on my pants. I'm not. Depends on what I sew. I draw to the end back to the parts between top of the fabric and the liner.
Yeah, I do that at the end. It's so nice to have the thread all tucked in there. I just learned about that somewhat recently. Game changer.
I want to know if my son is a singer, I'm starting a punk band. Because if he's in my living room singing, I'm getting drums and my neighbor's going to hate me. I have amps, and this Fender amp does the like the surfer sound.
Okay.
That dun, 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 dun. It specifically is made for the surfer sound.
And you know, Alibaba's a musician. We hook you up.
I have all kinds of fun stuff in here to have your neighbors judge you. Oh, that reminds me. Let's see if it still works. Can you hear that? I got my thing going again.
Oh, I see. That's for like reactions.
It was an impulse buy on Amazon at 3:30 in the morning. This is a cheapy soundboard.
Okay.
Super cheapy. But I have 4 JBLs in this room. So there's 4 giant speakers surrounding me. So the only reason you can hear it is because it's JBLs.
All right.
So I have a $10 piece of equipment hooked up to hundreds of dollars a speaker.
I got I had some Sony speakers for my television surround sound, and some of them were dying. And so I got a set from Goodwill, and they were JBLs.
Oh,
They
that's
sound nice.
awesome.
So I combined the two because my system had 7 surround sound, but I only had 5 speakers. So I kept 2 of the ones that were still good from the Sony set, and now I have 7.
That's awesome. Do you know, I used to judge people that had like, because I've had amps, all kinds of speakers in my car, but this weird thing happened to me one day. I grew up, and like I see people nowadays like that, and I'm like, I get it, bro, because you don't see young kids like that anymore have amps in their car. It's people my age, and I'm like, I understand you're going through a midlife crisis, sir. You play that corn as loud as you can. Yeah. I've been there. I am not. I saw someone today. They were playing corn. I looked at them. They looked at me. I was like, "Have a great day, sir. I know your age. Thank you for your service. You've made it to your 40s. May you guide your way into your 50s."
I mean, I understand the desire for good sound, but taking up all my trunk space with some amps and things, I think that might be a bit too far. I think that there are other things that you can do to make your car sound good that are not necessarily flashy and that don't take up all your space. And also, let's be realistic. It's your car. You're not in like a still room in your house. So, you know, you're always going to have like outside noises and things messing things up.
Let's see. I know that is true. You know what? When I saw this person today, I was like, because I had a midlife crisis when I turned 40, but it was more of an existential crisis. But I've been there. So I was like, nope, I shall not judge. I shall not judge. But we're gonna test out if this thing still works. Oh, it does. Can you hear me? Can you hear the reverb? I've got this feeling. Hold on, where is it? So now I gotta cut loose, foot loose, kick off the Sunday shoes, please, Louise. This is like peak YouTube. You know, I'm gonna look back 10 years from now and laugh at myself. Just had to see if that still works. I apologize. See, this is my midlife crisis. I hook up equipment and sing to myself in my garage. I don't. Young kids aren't interested in cars anymore. The cars itself is too expensive, and good luck paying for insurance. I've heard well over $300 a month.
Yeah.
A slight bit delay on that reverb. That one I did on purpose. This soundboard, you know, I have a bunch of really hardcore equipment hooked up to like a $10-15 soundboard. I'm surprised it works.
Kilroy's concern isn't sure it's gonna last.
It's been it's been well over a year and a half because I purchased it while I was streaming, but like it's been over a year and a half I've owned this thing and it's still going. Good for vocals, guitar surf style, slap his back. Oh, that's why, like, if my son, if he's in there singing, like, I have all kinds of cool stuff.
Now I've got that song stuck in my head. The
One of the greatest songs of all time. Greatest songs of all time. And for anyone wondering or tuning in, I am slow stitching my pants. But this green is kind of dull. I might add a few colors. But again, sometimes I should scream "umpa" like they do in My Big Fat Greek Wedding when everybody breaks something. Oh man, that went in my fingernail. That one hurt.
Oh,
Oof.
I should watch that movie. I haven't seen that movie in a while. And then they made a third one, or is it the third one hasn't come out yet? Either way, I haven't seen it.
What movie's that?
My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
I've only seen the first one because a friend of mine, we still quote it to this very day because we saw it when it first came out. And we still like umpa. How would I know that unless I've seen the movie 100 times, you know? I love that though. They actually do that in my in Are You Being Served? Mrs. Slocum marries this guy. It's a long story, but he's kind of like a shuckster. But every time something breaks, everybody's like, umpa. But of course, I saw that after I saw My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Whenever I make a bundt cake, it all comes back to me. There's a hole. It's a bundt. There's a hole. I fixed it with this flour.
That guy really plays the guitar upside down, not Hendrix. Dick Dale invented that sound. I could be wrong, but he invented that sound. I was watching something about that, and I was looking, I was like, I have that amp. Because I watch the most random, I'm all over YouTube, but that's my style. Like, I want to know things, so I'm into all kinds of stuff. Says the guy who's subscribed to a panda bear, eagles, orcas, a forest.
Oh, do you watch
Windex. Love that movie. That's it. Every time I look at Windex, that's another thing. Every time I look at Windex, I think of that movie. Sorry.
Do you watch ABC something or other? I'll put it in the chat, but it's Australian, and it's this naturalist who spends the whole thing talking about animals and watching clips and telling you about the animals in the clips. It's delightful.
Big Fat Greek Wedding was a great movie. I weirdly I'm not a fan of it's not even politics. I'm just I don't think Kevin Hart's funny. But anyways, there's this thing from the Olympics of Snoop Dogg and Kevin Hart. It's the funniest thing on earth, and they're doing commentary. And they're doing the equestrian thing. And Snoop Dogg's like, hey, they're doing my dance. And Kevin Hart's like, that's a horse. It's a horse. He was like frustrated with Snoop Dogg. Dick Dale did invent that sound. It was awesome. Absolutely awesome. I love that sound. Sorry, I put a million pens in here because I was trying to mark where I put the patch because I always end up missing. And then when I'm like walking, a piece of fabric will be rubbing against my leg or something. So I've learned over the years to mark your fabric.
Yeah.
But I keep on pricking myself.
Ouch.
Oh, these pants are going to be so gnarly.
Maybe you need an extra thimble for protection.
I need a metal. I'm going to patent pending. I'm just going to make a metal sewing hand. Do you know what's so funny? I finally went and bought new, I have everyday wear gloves. I've worked them so much that the fingers are like they're garbage. So I went and bought new ones. So in the old school world, my hand was a large. Trying on new gloves in the modern world, my hand is an extra, extra large. Now, from the time I bought those gloves a couple of years ago, I have them right here because they're all Walmart gloves. But these are my new ones that I just bought, and these are the large that fit my. I've wore these for years. Like I literally walk around with these in my back pocket all the time. Oh, I'm sad to see. This why I haven't thrown them in the trash because I'm loyal to garbage. Tell
I
me I need
mean,
to throw them in the garbage.
did you get women's gloves or something? And then you said you had to size up?
No, these are Walmart gloves. Went to Walmart and I bought a pair of gloves 5 or 6 years ago.
No, I mean the new ones.
No, these were in the. These were I don't. These are just gloves. They were in the hardware section.
Hmm.
You know, I
Well,
like them. They're cool.
they're a good fit, whatever size they are.
It just tripped me out. Maybe
Mhm.
they're like I don't know. It's weird to me.
Yeah. It's frustrating. I mean, there needs to be a standard. You know, if you have like this these measurements and these measurements and these measurements, then the company should say, okay, our clothes, we want it to fit how we want it to fit on these size measurements. And then okay, if I have these measurements, I get this size instead of this size from this company and this size from this other company and this size from this
I think that's what
line
it
in the
is.
same company.
But to me, because it comes from Walmart, aren't they all the same company? I know glove makers. They've been getting all sorts of new customers from store bought, not fitting. It's
Mm.
just it's cool. I do have some clawed hopper hands. I get it, but like, I don't know. Do your hands grow as you? I know your feet grow and your nose hairs and your ear hairs grow for the rest of your life, but like I will say I'm one of those people that at 25 my foot went from a 12 and a half to a 13.
Mm.
So my foot like it kept growing.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Also, you did say that you had gained some weight, so maybe your hands are a little plump right now.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
That's a thing?
Because, okay,
These
just
won't
to use
fit.
myself as an example, I'm wearing this ring on this finger. And when I'm at my ideal weight, this ring will fit on this finger. And right now it does not go over the knuckle.
Oh my. So maybe that is the thing. But I've been working out. I'm gonna be a Power Ranger by the time summer comes around. I'm gonna have my Morphin Time body back.
There you go. There you go.
It was just
I,
a straight. It was one of those weird things where I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't need to have this debate. I just grabbed him and left, and I had to go buy a candle because I have a hardcore candle addiction. Right now, my house smells like a summer breeze candle,
oh, goodness.
and my son's grown up around candles, so he doesn't even pay attention to them. They're not even a point of contention in my house because he's lived his whole life around me.
I should get some custom gloves. I have kind of large hands for a woman, even, without the extra weight. I just have kind of like wide palms. But I don't have the lady hands. You know how women tend to have a longer first finger and men tend to have a longer ring finger. So when I get gloves, oftentimes this finger is a little short and this finger is like floppy at the tip. So maybe I should get some custom gloves.
I think that's weird that we size them different. I dated a woman who was my she like at five if I was 5'9", she was 5'8", and her hand was maybe that much smaller than mine.
Mm-hmm.
Her hand was considered big, but she was a human being. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's weird how we gender gloves like that and things like that.
Well, we used to have
I
like
need to go back to my
actual glove sizes, and now we tend to just go with like one size or maybe a small, medium, large, or whatever. But there used to be glove sizes like there are shoe sizes. which was kind of nice because then you get a better fit on your gloves.
I have a weird question for you because I'm so glad we're bringing this up. If I was to start making my own gloves, can I just do a cardboard template?
No.
I need to hear this because I'm going to make a cardboard template right now.
There's a video. Vincent Briggs has a video on making gloves. Now, these are granted, an older style, but you can get glove patterns, and it's not quite the same as because it's got to go like around the finger and then meet up between the fingers and stuff. So have a look at some glove patterns, and then you can make a cardboard template.
I wondered about that too because I have weird hands. That's why I have to buy ginormous gloves because I have weird hands. Excuse me. Do you think if I typed in glove pattern on Amazon, one would pop up?
Probably, because I think some of the like big four have glove. I said Vincent. It's not Vincent.
Because there's a certain market I'm gonna start catering to, and I'm gonna start making clothes for a certain market, and I want to make gloves that like recently I've been seeing a lot of people that have been wearing gloves that are all the way past their elbow.
Ooh. It is.
And a lot of people wearing vinyl. I know where I can get a ton of vinyl cheap. A ton. I know a guy.
Well, is it the right kind of vinyl for gloves? Because you need to have some like flex to it.
That's why you're here. You're I'm the pirate. And you're on the mainland. You're like let's have some common sense here, Zoe.
Well, I mean, I'm all enthused about this. I just don't want you to be like making a pair with your vinyl and then mad when things.
I wouldn't touch my vinyl until I knew what I was doing. I'd make a bunch of templates.
But here's a place to start. And then I'm pretty sure that the pattern companies have glove patterns.
They're also different. Will you read that? I don't have my glasses on. Where are my glasses?
Alibaba says there are also different builds to gloves. Some you can just trace to your hand, but the rise of the depth of the hand and fingers are another part of the piece. I've got my thing in the way. Okay. The fingers have sides to them. Yeah. A lot of times you'll have an insert. So instead of it being just the two sides that have a seam, the two sides of the finger that have a seam, sometimes you'll have an insert in the sides, kind of like you do with your Jenkos.
I really like Joy's idea though, but these gloves are really complicated now that I need an easier glove. But I really, because these are just ratty. I was gonna chuck them, but I want to copy these. Like these were my I've worn them every day for 5 years. I carry them around. I'll feel weird when they're not in my pocket. I like that. Is that a gusset?
Yeah, gusset. I think it's not to correct Joy, but if you're looking it up, I think it's spelled with 2 S's. If you look for 2 Z's and can't find it, try 2 S's.
This is the room of autocorrect, right? Like I type stuff into Google. I'm like, I hope I'm close. I cheer when I'm looking for a pop-up. I'm like, yes.
Autocorrect's the worst though, because you type something and then it changes it, and then you can't find the thing you were looking for because it changed your typing.
It is, but I don't know how to spell Guggenheim. I'm gonna tell you right now. Sorry. I'm man enough to admit I don't know how to spell a lot of stuff. Cahuenga? Can you spell Cahuenga right off the top of your head? I can't.
Is it C-A-H?
It sounds like Cahuengi.
U-E-N-G-A?
So, see? No. No. I remember when I lived in Hollywood, I was standing at Amoeba Records and I'm like, okay, I know that sign says Cahuenga, but it looks like Cahuengi. Like it just looks wrong. It looks wrong. There are certain things that I know. I know my limitation. So autocorrect and I were locked like this in a battle a long time ago. Someone I know who was educated in Norway, they were like, William, you read a massive amount of books every month. Autocorrect is ruining your life. And she was right, because I stopped thinking about certain words. And I would write all the time. I started writing again, but there are certain words where I'm like, I used to know how that was spelled. And then I let computers think for me, you know. It's so that is very true. It's very true.
Spelling is not my strong point. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, is that one R or two? You know, how do you? And so I have to like look things up. So like it's rote memorization is not top on my list of skills. But then I took, Chaucer class in Middle English language and literature, Old English, and oh my word, that did a number on my spelling for sure. It was. Oh, it was so bad because there wasn't standardized spelling, and the spelling was completely different from now. You just kind of like squint and read it phonetically, and you're like, oh, okay, that's the word they're using. And oh yeah, my spelling got so bad. I kept adding extra e's at the ends of the words just for kicks, like they did.
You know, and I might cut that entire Guggenheim thing. I might put that. I might cut that and put it as a video. Patent pending. Patent pending. But it's true. I have allowed computers to think for me and spell for me. When we're talking, I'll click a button on my computer and I'll start talking to my computer, and it'll go to what I'm saying. You're like, what are you saying? Sorry, I'm making myself illiterate and I'm talking into my computer. Sorry.
The worst is when you're trying to use text to speech when you're driving and your passenger won't shut up and they keep chiming in with things. And you're like, stop, I'm trying to get directions.
I have that problem because I'm habitually listening to things. So I'll hit something, not realizing that it's going to pick up my Bluetooth speaker too, because it's loud as heck. I'm ignoring it. Happens a lot.
I want a glove machine. I can't tell you how much I want a glove machine.
I watch videos about that machine. I have a strangest habit. I do too. Especially if you want a lining in the glove too. I was thinking about that too, because I have I'm weird. I have are they yeah, I have isotoner gloves that have fake fur in the hands.
Oh.
I need to find those. I have a weird collection of stuff. I know.
Now I've got Kanye in my head.
What song?
The one where he talks about since OJ wore isotoners. Marquette gave me a hard time one time. It was cold, so I sent Isaiah with my isotoners. Marquette came back. He's like, bro, he's like, you are so out of style. I said, I know. He's like, I haven't seen isotoners since I was a child. But they're awesome. They still make them, by the way. I have the slippers and the gloves. Judge me. That reminds me, I need to find my other isotoner. But the great cleaning is underway. I've actually found a bunch of shirts, and I think it's awesome though that my son, it's because he's lived his since he was 2 years old. He's lived with me, but he likes my style, and so he dresses like me, and so I'm like, here, I have hundreds of black shirts. Let's go through them all. Like you can wear them all here. Aw. Oh, that makes me think of the video that I sent you with the little boy whose dad is the basketball coach. And the kid,
Is that what
it
they
was,
made him the shirt?
I don't know if they made him a shirt or not, but he dresses like a little miniature basketball coach in the khakis
Oh,
and the little polo, and he's out there on the side of the
that was a great
court
video.
doing all the gestures and the referees. Oh, it was so cute.
There's a video of a young son that made a shirt for his dad, and his dad's this big dude. And at first you think the dad's gonna be mean, and the dad's all supportive. I almost started crying when every time I watch that video. I'm like, look at that supportive parent.
You should send that to me.
I'm gonna find it. I bet with my Google foo I could find it in 2 seconds. It's an
All right.
awesome video.
Okay.
Because it's just, it's one of those like positive things. I'm telling you, I'm constantly looking for. If you saw my YouTube feed, you'd be like, this is the most confusing YouTube feed I've ever seen in my life. Because lately I've been watching Norwegian death metal and crazy cat videos. So it'll be some crazy video, and then somebody playing with their cat with like 6 million views.
That's what you need in life sometimes.
You need some positivity. Hey, look at me. I'm wearing a crazy color shirt.
That's right.
Do you know if my grandmother saw me wearing a shirt with a Lady of Guadalupe on it, she would slap the glasses off my face. Because she was from a different generation. It's so weird to me that I can see with my glasses on.
What a concept. It's almost like they're made for that or something.
Vanity, oh vanity.
I don't know why we have to keep telling you. You look good in your glasses, William.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It's still not good. It's an insecurity thing. I've been wearing hats since I was a child, and I think I still wear hats just because I've always been wearing hats. Oh, I hit a snag. Let's fix it before I start ripping things. Where did you come from, Not?
Alibaba says, I have 2 machines that can be used to help make gloves, the fur machine and the Raymond chain stitch. The Raymond is the same style machine the company that ended up making Queen Elizabeth's coronation gloves started their business with way back. Wow.
Crazy.
Oh.
That's a super wow.
One day I'll have a glove machine for my collection. Although if it weighs as much as that carpet binder, it might still be on the floor in the garage.
Do you know, I watched this, speaking of crazy videos, I was watching this crazy video, and it was the queen was telling a story about how her and I think one of her aides or something, they were wandering around the Scottish countryside. It was just her and one aide, and they stumbled upon these 2 Americans. And these people, they saw the queen and they're like, oh, thank you. We're so glad you're here. And they're like, can you take our picture? And she's like, okay. She's like, of course. And the Queen of England took the picture for them. And they're like, hey, you're so nice. Can we take a picture with you? And she's like, of course. And so, and the Queen sat there at the end of her story. She's like, I wonder who told them.
Right?
She's like, I really wonder who. They're like, you dummies, the Queen of England. But she was like, they were so polite. I was polite. She's like, they politely asked me to take the picture. I took the picture, not knowing it's literally the Queen of England. It's on YouTube. She tells it. It's the funniest story.
And isn't that the couple where they're like, they even asked her, oh, do you ever see the Queen around here? And
I think, or they asked her, like, what do you do for a living? Or no, do you work here? Or something like that. Something idiotic where she's like, yeah, I kind of do. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it just, that story had me on the floor. That kid Ken's so nice. He's like 7 or 8 years old.
Ooh. I'll have to see. I've seen, maybe I have seen that video. That's okay. I don't mind watching again. If anyone has a link for it, send it along.
I'm so glad I decided to save these pants. These are my like everyday wearing pants. They They are they perfectly go around my boots. I look like a Clydesdale because they're so frayed in the back. Do you see that?
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, pants do not fit until they're disintegrated. But because I work a hardcore job, I try not to waste things because I know I'm just gonna get oil on these, you know.
So are you going to put a decorative part on the outside, or are you going to stitch like around the denim part in some decorative stitches? What are you doing with this patch?
Right now I'm just doing is it sashiko or sansisco?
Sashiko.
Sashiko pattern. I can't Waterne is my resident professor in humanities and English.
I hope I don't let you down.
well, in this case, Japanese.
I would like to learn Japanese one day. It's on my list.
You got it. I wish I'd followed through with German and French. Me and my buddy, we tried so hard. We spoke the worst German. French was a little bit easier, but German was. There's a lot of languages that like certain languages I catch because they have the Latin base.
Mm.
But if it doesn't have that Latin base, I'm kind of lost. Tell you the truth, I'm telling you the truth.
And then German has some complex grammatical stuff that we're not used to in English anymore.
At all. See, that's why I needed Muzzy.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome, Ollie. I'm still mad. I'm gonna find Muzzy. I'm gonna buy the entire series and watch. I'm gonna speak French within a week. I wanted to speak French so bad. I told my parents, like, I want Muzzy, and they're like, bro, speak English first. And by the way, see, but like I was given good advice. They're like, everyone around you speaks Spanish. You should learn to speak Spanish. And I was like, no, I want to learn to speak. I want Muzzy to teach me how to speak French. But eventually I just learned how to speak Spanish.
I'll send you the link to the Annenberg site so you can watch French in action without commentary and stuff. That'll get you going.
You did. It hasn't. I just haven't had time to sit there for 6 hours. And I'm probably going to do that next Friday or something. That's the one with the immersion course, right?
Right. But I think that when we tried to watch it, it had all this like commentary over it. So it wasn't like the program. It was the program and someone talking about it at the same time. So I'll send you.
I checked a few and it's just them speaking French.
Okay.
Okay. YouTube is weird. So there's a lot of stuff I watch. Like I'm obsessed with Blake 7. If you get caught by YouTube, they take it down. So what happens is someone will play they'll play the theme song, then it'll be like, this is Jeff's YouTube channel. But that 30 seconds or whatever cuts up, and for some reason it still allows them to play the entire show.
Mm-hmm. Well, if it doesn't work out, you can always just go directly to the Annenberg site.
For real, I'm glad I took the advice of everyone around me. They were like, you need to learn to speak Spanish. And I'm glad. I was explaining this to my son. I was like, you can make more money where we live. At Disneyland, the more languages you speak, you get paid more. Because you can host people and take them places and speak their language, Have a great night, Liz. Thank you for stopping by.
Bye. Doing that study abroad thing was like the best investment. And I'm not even fluent, but just being able to get by is huge.
Your Spanish is better than people that are born in this country that are pure fill in the blank. I'm serious. When you spoke Spanish, I was like, wow. I'm telling you, yours is better. And because I come from people that like spoke many languages, that's something that's lost in today's world where people speak multiple languages. Because in my day, everybody kind of did. And I'm not saying like like we muddled through it, or everybody got that 1 or 2 years of Spanish, like real Spanish, you know. I have a high school textbook from the 1960s, I believe, that my grandmother pilfered from Birmingham High School, and because
Uh-oh.
she's way past, I can tell the truth. But it's intense compared to a Spanish book now. Like they get down, and they get down with phonetics. They teach you how to properly put the noun in front, you know.
Mm. Yeah, I did find that I had a year in high school, and I didn't come out of there feeling like I knew anything at all.
Back in the day, those classes were intense. There were almost college level Spanish. I'll show you. It's in here somewhere. And it's funny because it has this really hardcore picture of Mexico City, and it's total 1950s because there's like a Popeyes there now and like a McDonald's. Mexican Spanish is totally different, but
Mhm.
Mexican Spanish, like English, is a universal language. It's strange. Like I know people that are from Honduras that speak Mexican Spanish. I know people from El Salvador. El Salvadorian has a completely different twang to it. There's just different words, but they speak Mexican Spanish. It's one of those
It,
weird things.
yeah, you get a lot of like, like regional slang and slightly different pronunciation and stuff. I would kind of equate like the Spanish from Spain, and again over there in Spain they also have different regional dialects and things, but
Well, it's
like
also Castilian as well.
yeah, well the Castellano, the like standard, that one is mutually intelligible with Mexican Spanish, but it's maybe like the difference between English from England and English from America. Some slight differences, but you can more or less do what you need to do.
Yeah, I agree with you, but like I can't necessarily have a conversation with someone from Argentina. We speak two completely different languages. Like we could find somewhere in the middle, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I try. I'm just Portuguese has not got on.
Oh, well, Portuguese is a whole other language.
I'm
So
saying, but they were close 200 years ago, but now they've morphed into something completely different.
Portuguese always throws me at first. I hear it and I'm like, oh, it's Spanish. And I'm like, no, it's French. And I'm like, no, wait, it's Spanish. But no, it's French. And I'm like, why can't I understand this? And
Exactly.
because it's Portuguese. Because I understand like just enough to feel like I should be understanding it, but not enough to have any idea what they're actually saying.
During COVID, I really got weird. I didn't sleep. I immersed myself, and I started watching a lot of Brazilian stuff without the subtitles,
Mm-hmm.
and it started catching. Like there's quite a few words but I can't say them on YouTube. But there's quite a few words I actually know that are Brazilian because I got into the world of favelas because Brazil has the world's largest ghetto, and I started watching stuff without the subtitles.
Mm.
It was, we were trapped in the house. I
Yeah.
watched so much weird stuff during the plague. In England, people sometimes can't understand some Scots or Irish. Okay, this actually happened to me the first time I actually met somebody who was really from Scotland, and we were at a bar. 3 drinks in, I'm like, uh-oh. I don't know what he just said, but he still has his arm around me. We're friends still. Like, I have no idea. Like, there's a difference between like the television version and then you meet somebody who's actually from there. Like the first time I heard David Tennant talk, I'm like, oh, you don't have that's how you really talk? Like you don't have a posh accent? Like David Tennant, I was shocked.
I love David Tennant's
Me too.
Scottish accent. Alibaba says that French is like that too, the English. Many different dialects and ways they speak. Yeah. French from Quebec versus French from Paris. And
I watched a video about that. And there's insane videos that come out of there too, Gilroy. I went through this really weird phase of watching videos from around the world, and it's like it'll make you not want to go to certain places.
Mm.
I'm so glad
Yeah.
I did this. Do you know, I could not find my tin, which inspired me cleaning my entire house. I am so glad that I found my grandma tin of sin of thread. And I'm finally getting around because I didn't realize, you don't realize how much you use something until you lose it.
Yeah.
Was it Joni Mitchell? You don't realize what you got till it's gone.
I mean, I'm familiar with the, oh dang it. What was
Don't
the,
say Counting Crows.
no, there was that other band that
Counting Crows. I worked every crummy job. I worked when I was after college. I worked at a Subway. I worked at a Ruth and Chris Steakhouse. I worked at Carl's Jr. And every one of those places would have radio satellite, and they would play the Counting Crows version of that song. So that song, I love it and hate it in the same breath. Because you'd hear it over and over and over. Pave paradise, put up a parking lot.
oh, I thought you were I thought you were talking about the don't know what you got till it's gone song.
That is that song. I have to go.
No, there's a
Go talk
different
to
one
my-
I'm thinking of.
I have to go talk to my son real quick because he's getting a
Okay.
little too hyped up. I know he hasn't taken a shower yet, and he's been singing for 2 hours.
I just clicked over the Scottish guy stuck on the roof. I'll definitely watch that later. So some show and tell for all you book lovers out there. I got a new keychain in the post, and it's from the Book Devourers, which I have, but I haven't read yet. Fairy Tales. I thought that was fun. I like to switch out my keychains for a little personality, any chance you get, self-expression. And then when I had some steel boning, I went to the hardware store because my little wire cutters were not going to cut through the sprung steel boning. And I told them this, but being a little condescending, they're like, oh, just grab some pliers. I'm like, no, you don't understand. And I finally had to just give them a piece of the sprung steel, and they saw that the boning was bending the pliers and the wire cutters, and the cutters were having zero effect on the steel. So that's when I finally got these mega cutters from Wiss. Turn them right side up. Drop forged clippers, and these things, with much effort, will actually cut through the steel boning. So, I know people recommend the plastic boning or zip ties because boning wasn't like super stiff historically. But if you have some sprung steel boning, these are the only thing I found that kind of cut it.
Good grief. Next time you have that problem, shoot me a message and I'll open my toolbox for you. I have something. I have tin snips, all kinds of aviation snips, all kinds of fun stuff that's reinforced and a little bit smaller. Those are hardcore. Your scissors.
Well, I tried the other ones and they didn't cut it. But I tried some tin snips and whatnot. Yeah, these are no joke. But they were the only things that would cut the sprung steel.
I have a collection of tin snips and all kinds of fun
next
stuff.
time. I got these some years ago. So.
Those are hardcore. Those are those are hardcore.
Next time I need stuff though, I know who to call. Well, because you've got like 6 of each of all the things, so I'll make you a list and you can send me a care package.
I was thinking about this the other day. It's because I inherited, though, like I didn't go out seeking these things. They found me.
You lived with a hoarder engineer, so
Yeah, like for real. There's all kinds of overambitious projects. Like when I go through my storage unit, you will see how like I have all kinds of displays and carts and like all kinds of crazy things. Because he was constantly thinking about building stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
My dad, he built this movie cart that has a bunch of mounts on it. I'm just not a live action kind of guy. No, it's a really cool concept because you put the camera on it and you can run with it and move it around with the person. I'm not
Nice.
filming Jet Li movies.
No,
Not
I
yet.
mean the possibilities. You could show your coats in action, and someone could run with you with the steady cam while you're in the gym, like skating. And
People get vertigo when I do stuff like that. I've been told 100 times, like, "Are you trying to hurt me sewing? What are you
well,
doing?"
they get vertigo because you didn't use your fancy steady cam.
Speaking of, okay, so I'm putting this in the group because let me see. Did I send the same picture? No. Okay. It's we have now reached the sharing portion of the stream. No, the new ones are just as good. People just take care of the older ones more. People don't take care of their tools as much as they used to. So the tools wear out faster. I agree. I have tools that are older than me. And because he's passed away, I have stuff that says property of the United States Navy on it. And I knew somebody that told me that they had such a pilfering, and it's true. The Navy had such a pilfering problem. They started inventing tools that you couldn't take home.
Oh goodness.
I'm serious. I have a few. Oh,
I think, Kilroy, that there is a little bit of survivor's bias too. Like the good tools were the ones that lasted because they didn't break. So
17 notifications.
17 notifications.
I really haven't gone on Twitter in a while. It's just not what it used to be.
I know. I keep trying to turn those off, and I can't get them to leave me alone. I keep changing the settings, and I still get and the same. Oh my word, the same with stupid threads.
Okay, I want to preface this with I did not buy this. But I probably own 9 or 10 of these.
Oh my word. See,
I have one in red. I own Shimmer and Sparkle. I own I have the box. I have Shimmer and Sparkle was the fake what's that other one they would make? Oh, I can't remember. But it made me laugh because they're hawking these for $14 at my local dollar store.
you could donate them to like the local women's shelter. Don't they need toys and stuff all the time? And kids could learn how to sew.
But this is cruel to do to a child.
Well, this is true.
I'm not a sadist. I would never be that mean to a child. I think we should nurture the children and not give them torture devices.
Sewing.
People would cease sewing if we gave children these pieces of junk.
Yeah, well, yes, that's true.
My dollar store is hawking these for $14. They'd also paint tools pink. Yes, that's so true. That is so true. Yes, definitely. Survivor's bias. That is so true, Kilroy. What the heck is that as a sandwich cutter? My dollar store weirdly sells a lot of sewing supplies. I've purchased every pin, like all the useful stuff I've purchased. I have hundreds of them, so I really don't buy anything anymore. And I've gotten in trouble. I made a video about cheap thread. People talk trash to me. I still use the cheap thread. It works.
And then it clogs up your machine or it breaks while you're sewing. You've also had those problems, but
I have. I'm man enough to admit it. I have. I have. Trust me, the houses back then were not built better. They were built like crap. Terrible electrics, drafty, insulated very poorly. And because of how many of them were built, you can't re-insulate them. I mean, it's a $15 toy for kids to use. If you expect a big sewing machine from that, you're an idiot. Well, I would want to encourage somebody to continue to
Yeah.
sew. So, you know,
Yeah. And
I have so many of those. Not even
I think too, a lot of people who would be tempted to buy something like that don't know that you can get a vintage sewing machine for not a whole lot more than that works better, won't give you as many hassles, and will last a lifetime. You know, you got to do a little shopping around, but you know.
ouch. The only reason I bring that up is because one day I saw this video, and again, it's one of those stupid viral videos. And this is another pandemic video that I saw, but somebody lined up like 10 of them and they were sewing this piece of leather at once. I'm like, that has to be fake. Or they engineered every single, or they like went in those sewing machines and made them better. Because there's no way that thing would seize. And if you plug in anything over 6 volts, it just starts chewing and it won't stop. It just starts going. Because I have all kinds, this is a room of all kinds of plugs. Son of an engineer. I have every kind of voltage plug you could possibly think of. Those machines go wild. Plug in anything that's higher. So I want to know how they did it. And I've been wondering for 3 years because I think, but I don't know. I don't think it's CGI, but they did something.
Thinking of old houses too, Kilroy, I think that part you end up with, they're old, and so you've had some settling and some gaps that have come, and insulation that was there is not cutting it. But I think also sometimes the houses were kind of meant to work with a lot of things together in a certain way. They had different kind of heating that they expected, and different like fireplaces, and you were expected to have cross breezes in the summer, and you were expected to use drapes, and like different types of situations. And I think that in some ways we've forgotten
Have a furnace,
how to live in the same way, and so then the house doesn't function for us.
I would thrive. I have a cast iron furnace. I've been dying to use that thing. And I'd make drapes in 10 seconds. They had the time. Yes, radiant heat for stone, rubble filled walls. I think though, like, could you live in an old timey house like that with no
Yes.
electricity or anything like that?
With no electricity and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean that would be kind of a pain. But I could live in an old house with a few simple modernizations, like some electricity for some things. And
Well, that's cheating. We could all live in a castle if it had plugs and Wi-Fi. I'm there. If you had
But
plugs
no, I
and
mean,
Wi-Fi,
some
I'm there.
but some people don't like that, or some people would find it still burdensome, or some people would be like, oh, it's too many pokey rooms, or stuff like that.
I watch old episodes of the Sarah Micklin show because I'm crazy, or Milligan. I can't say her name because I'm not from her country, aka the UK. But she interviewed this woman who purchased a castle, and I think she had 45 rooms.
Mm.
And her hobby was going through the house and refurbishing every room.
Oh,
And it
that
took
would
her
be amazing.
it took her years. But they were making fun of her because like she's like, I love redoing the bathrooms. And there was this one bathroom that they had it was all wood. And she was like, you don't like people, do you? It just looked extremely uncomfortable, but it was gorgeous because it was all old school, like hard oak wood.
Yeah.
Like walnut, like deep, deep, deep colors.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
But it was also like a semi non-functioning bathroom. So for anybody watching right now or in the future, I'm just patching. I'm coming around and doing it San Francisco style. The color is kind of off, but I'm just trailing around the patch. Usually I come through with a sewing machine, but I might keep it for what it is. My son is a singer. He is a singer. Chopping wood for fireplace gets old fast. I grew up having two people who just light a fire once in a while don't know how much time and labor is involved in using wood for your main heat.
Mm.
It's basically a part-time job to second full-time job. Do you know what's really funny? I used to watch those hillbilly, Oklahoma hillbilly hand fishing. It's called noodling. And there was this other show of people that lived out in the woods of Appalachia. And there was this one guy who he showed the truth behind having wood as your main source of heat.
Mm.
That's basically what he did the whole season. Like his whole season revolved around keeping his wood dry and everything else, And I was just like, okay, I don't know if I can go off grid like that. Because my dream was to live in Alaska as a kid. You're gonna laugh at me, and you can. I don't know what grade it was. In America, you read the book Hatchet. I don't know what grade it like in like this 3rd or 4th grade, where this kid gets in a plane crash and he lives out in the wild. I wanted to be that kid so bad, and as an adult, I went to Alaska and realized I wouldn't make it through the winter. But because of a book that I read as a child, it led me to actually go there, and I realized that I would not survive. I wanted to live like Hatchet so bad. Just walk around with me and my hatchet and a wolf. But it's a book.
I remember reading and just loving My Side of the Mountain. I think that was by, I don't know if it's Jean George or Jean George. I think it's Jean, a lady. But I love that book. He runs off. He's like mad at his family about something, and he runs away to go live in the mountains. Hand raises a falcon, lives in a hollowed out tree, like a massive tree.
That's where I see. I'm there. I am there. That was my fantasy. I just didn't like my family. That was like my fantasy was to go live in Alaska.
See, I don't know that I would do something like that in Alaska. The weather is a little extreme.
I didn't realize how far north it was. Eventually, most people can't handle it, and they're forced to go to gas or oil heat. Chopping wood is hard. It is. We chop down trees I work on this giant property, so we have to maintain it once a year. And it's getting less and less every other year. I'll chop a tree down with an axe. I dare you. I dare anybody if you literally have to work out before you do it, you have to have a certain upper body strength to be able to come in even cuts and just do this over and over. It is not as easy as it looks. I actually have my axe in this room because it's my axe.
Alibaba said could do 11 cord in a day.
Oh, wow. That's chainsaw.
Lot.
That's chainsaw action.
And
do you know what's really funny? The reason why I bought my Husqvarna sewing machine is because I have a ton of Husqvarna equipment at my job, and it's dependable.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how Mark Short and I used to always talk about that, because I have like full Husqvarna gear and everything. They sold us.
If you're watching, Mark's family, Barry, hello.
And use the right type of axe. That's so true. That is so true. That's another thing people don't realize. I'm like looking at I work on a property, and like this, I had to retire this guy, but this was my baby. I thought it was so cool, and I would walk around with that thing.
Why did you have to retire it?
Because I'm in the office now.
Oh, I see.
And that's literally the real reason why I had to retire it.
You could
I got
still
trees
wear it
down
on
with
your belt.
axes.
Remind people where you came from.
You look like a goofball if you're not actually. You're total. If I'm not doing the job, I'm a wannabe. That's like my pops used to always talk about that. He would always say, "Don't be the guy who carries the saddle in the back of his truck but doesn't really own a horse." He was like, "Don't be that guy."
That just seems like a good way to get your saddle stolen.
I chopped down trees with axes. You feel it for months after exactly, and when I was in my teens, it's still made of rubber. I also build log cabins. You know, I picture you like with like just a knit cap on, one of those Canadian you know, with like an 18 something mustache, building a house in one hand and a sewing machine in the other. Every room should have an axe. Everyone should have an axe in their sewing room. Hear me out. It's hardcore sewing in here. I didn't know what to do. Like a lot of my tools I used to carry in my truck and stuff, and I just don't hit it as heavy as I used to. You know what the funny thing is, the like people at my job, they tell me, they're like, you have to start acting your age, and I'm like, what does that mean? So I like a lot of the tools I don't use anymore. I brought home because these are my like this is different though. Like someone made me this handle and gave it to me.
Nice.
So like they made this handle just for me, you know. And I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And Joy, you should have an axe, especially you live in Canada, you know, you never know. A moose could come running in your sewing room, you know. You never know. A lynx.
You put a lot of faith in that axe.
It's a distraction when I'm running.
No handlebar.
And it's in the sewing room. Why? I like to look at it and remember what I was. We have Bambi and skunks. Oh my gosh. I'm sitting here one night minding my own business, and I hear this screech. There's like this dip under my fence, and I cut it so the animals can go underneath. The skunk got so fat he got stuck, and he depouched on my trash can.
Oh,
And my
no.
neighbors who moved, who they were there at the time. This room was smelling so bad, my eyes were watering. I
Oh,
opened up my
no.
garage door, and my neighbor, because she had a camera pointing down, and she's like, let me show you something crazy. The skunk, because the skunk has been eating all the cat food, and everything. Skunk got fat. And it depouched right. I mean, I couldn't be in here. Like I took a sewing machine in my kitchen. That's how much it stunk in here.
Oh my goodness.
It was awful. It was
So did you wash it down with like vinegar or something, or?
My neighbor did. I miss her because, long story short, and I can talk about her now, but she was real life 5150. But man, she was dedicated. She scrubbed that fence. Like I have wild mint and all kinds of stuff growing. I have sunflowers on the side in front of my house. She would like tend it. I miss her. I don't know what I'm going to do next year.
Mm.
But she took care of all of it. It was nasty. It was bad. It was bad. I have fox 2 nights ago screaming. The warm weather set them off. See,
Wow.
a lot of people don't know that. Type in foxes do scream, and it's crazy.
Mm.
Foxes are crazy.
They're so cute, though.
We also have bears roaming around all year. Oh, where I live, we used to have things like that, but because of expansion, we pushed the animals out, so we really don't have animals like that anymore.
That would be frightening, Alibaba, to live someplace where the bears are close enough to be eating your berries. Because what if one day they come and there aren't any berries, and then they're mad?
Well, they have fertile soil in Canada, so it's not like it's not like where I live. I live on the concrete side, not like as bad as like deep in LA where it's all concrete, but it's pretty hardcore concrete where I live.
Mm. Well, I do not live in the part of California that has bears coming down the street to eat my berries.
That's why I corrected myself, because you live on the luscious side. I live in the high desert. People are like, "This is LA." I'm surrounded with blackberries.
Wow.
They
Nice.
attack the garage. I wondered about that too, because like when I lived in Oregon, the bears were not scared of humans.
Mm.
I have a story I'll tell you off stream if you remind me. I just can't say it on stream because it was
Okay.
like it was horrible. That was my one horrifying Oregon story.
Oh, goodness.
But the bears are not scared of humans, at least in the Pacific Northwest.
Oof.
They love those joy, and so do I.
Yeah. I used to go berry picking, just kind of, by the roadside. The little tiny wild strawberries and the blackberries and raspberries.
And you can actually eat them?
Yeah. They're just like there. And you just, like country roads and stuff, you just pick them and eat them.
Kilroy, we usually get 0 rain, but because the weather's changing, we get a little bit more rain, but it barely rains here. Oh, now I have that song stuck in my head. It never rains in Southern California.
The high desert does get snow. Not like back east snow, but they do get snow.
Yeah, but where I live, we can drive to it and leave it there. And it
right, but
snow.
I was thinking like, Palmdale and stuff. They get snow.
Oh, that's different. In Palmdale gets real weather.
Mm-hmm.
They get, but again, Palmdale is like they have Joshua trees. That's real desert.
Mm.
Like they have Joshua, literally the Palmdale, like the Joshua trees go from Palmdale to Joshua Tree National Forest. Fun fact. Those trees, they only grow in that area and in Israel for some reason, or it's a desert thing, basically.
Mm.
There's only certain places in the world they grow, and for me, I take them for granted because they're if you head east, they're everywhere. Joshua trees are everywhere.
Yeah.
I've been, before Coachella was famous, we used to drive out there because it was cheaper than going to the national forest. Now it's all the same price.
Mm.
Blackberries and loganberries make nice wine. If you get to know you're a threat, they run off quick. I actually saved someone's life with something that I saw on Doctor Who. There was a cougar after a fire, and they warned us that injured cougars would come in, and I didn't believe that. I did not believe. They had a whole meeting, and I was like, I don't believe you. And lo and behold, a cougar, it was back legs were burnt, and it came in to attack, and I shined a light like this, and I got it from Danny on Doctor Who in the episode when the plants took over the planet in the Peter Capaldi episodes, and it saved both of our lives. So that's real.
Oh,
You just have to appear to be bigger than it, And for some reason, lights like that blind big cats.
mm. Hmm. Good to
And I
know.
would have never known that if it wasn't for Doctor Who. And I'm glad it wasn't just poppycock.
Well,
No,
better than trying nothing.
because like in what's it called? If you ask anyone who's into astrophysics, who's like an astrophysicist or into science at all, when they watch sci-fi, a lot of it's technobabble. But if you're
Yeah.
not into science, you're like, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't know half this stuff. It's just these are words that were just invented,
Yeah. It's nice when you get something that's like that has like just enough grounding in reality that because it gives like some verisimilitude to the other things, even though that it's just made up. You're like, it could be real.
I look up stuff. There's a lot of stuff like in Stargate and Star Trek. Stargate's different. They did their research. A lot of it is based on math and experimental stuff, but
Mhm.
Star Trek made up a lot of stuff. Especially as an adult, like I'll pause it and I'll Google it and I'm like, okay, that's technobabble. Let's continue. Because I learned about base 8 math. I learned about time dilation, about entropic cascade failure. These are real principles. I learned all of this through Stargate. And I would look it up. I would read about it. They were amazing. Base 8 math is how they measure the distance of stars. My whole point is these things are real. There are certain shows I watch and I Google it and I'm like, oh, that's just theoretical.
Well, there's theoretical and then there's made up completely.
It's fun. It's just funny. I've learned like the old school sci-fi shows where you'd learn if you paid attention.
Yeah.
All right, we've been going for 3 hours. It is definitely a Monday night. Doesn't feel like it, but you know what? We got a lot done. And this week will be the attack of the hoodies. I'm thinking about making something with that weird cheap bed sheet fabric that I bought. So this will be definitely what? The flux capacitor isn't real? Man, flux capacitors look like old garbage disposals. If you give me a clear case and an old garbage disposal, I will make you one in 5 minutes. I have the black tape that goes around the edges and everything.
Think Geek put one out, like the console part. They put one out for their April Fools, and everyone liked it so much that they actually put it into production, and you could buy like the little insert. I think it was like a phone charger or something like that they made.
Oh, that's awesome. A friend of mine who is like total trust fund baby bought the entire Marty McFly outfit from the second Back to the Future with the light up Nikes and everything.
And like the one from the show he bought, or he bought
it was
put
like
one together.
They sell replicas, but they're not cheap,
Mhm.
And those Nikes, that you could buy those Nikes right now. The Back to the Future Nikes are actually really popular. But I was like, and he bought a fake hoverboard, and I'm like, I wish I had disposable income like that. Like
Well, you do. You just spend it on sewing machines and fabric.
but those are practical things. You
Oh.
like 20 years from now, my sewing machines will still be around. Like, I think about this all the time. It's sad. Like, how many people can tell me who was in The Rifleman? I loved that show. No one even knows who's in it anymore. I still say no brag, just fact. I got that from that show, watching it as a kid, So I accept the fact that the things I'm in love with will eventually fade away to obscurity. I learned that with buying. I had this weird thing where I would buy. I had a bunch of Star Trek toys. They were worth a lot of money in the box. Isaiah found it, opened up every single one. I told myself, you only live once.
Yeah, but you could have gotten him a not $1,000 one to play with.
I had a ton too. And like they were low serial number ones too. I could still resell them. I still have them in the drawer. They're just not in the box. The only one that survived is Londo Malari. Still in the box. Babylon 5. Still with the card and everything. Be like me and watch art films. Then the things you love are already obscure. I do. I still watch because I don't sleep at night. I still watch that PBS when they show like skits and plays and stuff like that. I love. Is it called CBS Arts? Yeah, CBS Arts. I love that.
PBS.
I'm sorry, PBS. It's late night.
But no,
I'm inverting everything. It's time to go.
I don't think that's no. It's Arts Showcase.
Yes.
Yeah, Arts.
I used to watch that in. I started watching it in high school because it was trippy to my little developing mind. I loved watching it, you know. And as an adult, I'm like, I need some culture. It's 3 a.m. I need some culture. Absolutely. You know, I actually am into a bunch of obscure French films and a bunch of really obscure German films with Peter Lorre. But like nobody wants to have a 5-hour conversation about German movies from the 1940s and 50s. Actually, no, the Peter Lorre movie was made pre-World War II because he absconded to America because he was in Casablanca. And that was 42, I believe, or something like that. And he was famous by then, like way famous by then. And yeah, because I was raised by senior citizens, I know about people that have come and gone long time. I'll be back at it on Wednesday. Do you have anything that you'd like to show, Polished and Assembled?
No, not today. I'm just holding on.
Finished project to anyone watching in the future. I thank you. And seriously, you guys have been coming through. So I thank anyone who is watching this, and you guys watched to the end, and I thank you. To anyone and everyone who's still here, I absolutely thank you. I'll be back at it on Wednesday. It's been a long, crazy day, but it's the week of the hoodies. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday. I hope everybody is doing well, and if not, I hope you are. I hope you eventually will be doing well. Like I always say, reinforce your seams, be yourself. I'll see you on Wednesday. I hope everybody has a great evening. Until then, take care of yourself. Always be yourself, reinforce your seams, and I will definitely see you next time. Bye.